We are going to be reading $100 Million Leads by Alex Ramosi, and it's going to be all inside of this video. So the audiobook is about 6 hours long, but we're going to want to take notes and apply the knowledge we are learning that's applicable to our business. So let's get started. You can get the book on Amazon, and $100 Million Leads has a free audiobook on Spotify too. So yeah, just type in $100 Million Leads.
Welcome to $100 Million Leads, the audiobook, episode 1, podcast version. So this is multiple chapters put together into one 1-minute episode, and that's because I figured you guys wouldn't want to hear, have to download many chapters at once and blow up your inbox. So we put 5 chapters to one for this episode for you. I hope you enjoy, and if you want to not miss the next episode of $100 Million Leads, just hit subscribe and you'll be notified by the gods of technology. Acquisition.com, Volume 2, $100 Million Leads. How to Get Strangers to Want to Buy Your Stuff by Alex Ramosi. Narrated by Alex Ramosi. Guiding Principles. Do More. Thank yous. To Trevor, thank you for your true friendship. Thank you for your tireless effort to extract the ideas out of my head. And for your continued support in slaying the nihilism monster. People say you are lucky if you have one real friend in your entire life. Thank you for being the best friend a man could ask for. To Layla, even though Lady Gaga said it first, it doesn't make it any less true. You found the light in me that I couldn't find. The part of me that's you will never die. Section 1. Start here. It's hard to be poor with leads banging down your door. Ramosi family jingle. You have to sell stuff to make money. It seems simple enough, but everyone tries to skip to the make money part. It doesn't work. I tried. You need all the pieces. You need the stuff to sell, an offer. You need people to sell it to, leads. Then you got to get those people to buy it, sales. Once you put all those in place, then you can make money. My first book, $100 Million Offers, covers the first step and gives you the stuff. It answers the age-old question, what should I sell? Answer, an offer so good, people feel stupid saying no. But strangers can only buy your stuff if they know you exist. This takes leads. Leads mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but most agree they're the first step to getting more customers. In simpler terms, it means they've got the problem to solve and the money to spend. If you're reading this book, you already know leads don't magically appear. You need to go get them. More precisely, you need to help them find you so they can buy your stuff. And the best part is, you don't have to wait. You can force them to find you. And you do that through advertising. Advertising, the process of making known, lets strangers know about the stuff you sell. If more people know about the stuff you sell, then you sell more stuff. If you sell more stuff, then you make more money. Having lots of leads makes it hard to be poor. Advertising lets you have a terrible product and still make money. It lets you be terrible at sales and still make money. It lets you make a ton of mistakes and still make money. In short, having the skill gives you endless chances to get it right. And in the unforgiving world of business, second chances are hard to come by. So you might as well load up. Advertising is a skill worth having. And this book, $100 Million Leads, shows you exactly how to do it. $100 Million Leads sits atop the foundation of my first book, $100 Million Offers. It assumes you already have a grand slam offer to sell, the stuff. Once you have an offer to sell, it creates the next problem. Who do I sell it to? This book is my answer to that question. Leads. Lots of leads. And before you know how to get leads, life sucks. You don't know where your next customer will come from. You scramble to cover rent and pay bills. You worry about laying people off, putting food on your table, and going under. You work your hardest to succeed, and others laugh at you for trying. It feels like death. I've been there. I get it. This book puts you in a better situation. One where you've got more leads than you can handle and more money than you can spend. Here's how. First, it explains how advertising works. Second, it reveals the 4 core ways to get leads. Third, it shows you how to get other people to do it for you. And finally, it wraps up with a 1-page advertising plan you can use to grow your business today. Once you know how to get leads, life gets easier. As for why you should blindly listen to me about getting leads, don't. Make up your own darn mind. But in the spirit of walking the talk, here's my track record. I advertise in a variety of industries through my holding company, Acquisition.com. Our portfolio includes software, e-commerce, business services, consumer services, brick and mortar chains, digital products, and plenty of others. Together, they make $250 million per year in annual revenue. And they do it by getting 20,000 plus leads per day, selling offers from $1 to $1 million plus. On a personal side, I have a lifetime average return on advertising of 36 to 1. That means for every $1 I spend on advertising, I get 36 back, a return of 3,600%. Some people built their wealth in the stock market, others in real estate. I built mine advertising. This year I surpassed $100 million in net worth at age 32. And if you're from the future, that's in 2022 US dollars, which, much to my dismay, came with no flyers, no awards, no parades. I'm still 2,000 times poorer than the richest man in the world. My life is pretty much the same. I'm still the same height, married to the same woman, and graying faster than when I was poor. In these pages, I share the skills responsible for the bulk of my material success. I did it all using the advertising methods in this book. I left nothing out. This isn't a book of theories or armchair analysis. This is a book built on what worked for me, and I wrote it hoping it'll work even better for you. To answer a question I got after releasing my first book, why do your books look like they're written for kids? The answer is simple. My books must be books I would read, and I have a short attention span. As such, I liken my reading preferences to that of a child. Short in length, simple in words, and with lots of pictures. These books are my attempt to do that. $100 Million Leads is about getting strangers to show interest in the stuff you sell. And once I transfer that skill to you, it's your turn to use it. With that out of the way, let's get rich, shall we? Pro tip: faster, deeper learning by reading and listening at the same time. Here's a life hack I stumbled on years ago. If you listen to an audiobook and read the physical book or ebook at the same time, you read faster and remember more. You store the contents in more places in your brain. Nifty stuff. This is how I read most books worth reading. I also do both because I struggle to stay focused. If I listen to the audio while reading, it helps me avoid zoning out. It took me 2 days to record this book out loud. I did it so if you struggle like me, you don't have to anymore. If you want to give it a try, go ahead and grab the alternative version that you don't have in your hands right now or listening to right now to see for yourself. I've made my books as cheap as the platforms let me, so this isn't a ploy to make some extra coin, I promise. I hope you find it as valuable as I have. I figured I'd put this hack early on. This way you'd have a chance to do it if you found the first chapter valuable enough to earn your attention. Pro tip: hack for finishing books. I get distracted easily, so I need little tricks to keep my attention like this one. This one helps me a lot. Finished chapters don't stop in the middle. Completing a chapter gives you positive reinforcement. It keeps you going. So if you meet a tough chapter, finish it so you can start fresh on the next one. How I got here. Hope is being able to see the light despite all the darkness. Desmond Tutu. March 2017. I felt hurried taps on my shoulder while working at my desk. It was Layla, my then girlfriend and business partner. What's up? You all right? We have a problem, she said. What now? I thought. Look at this. She shoved a stack of books out of the way to make room for her laptop. What am I looking at? I squinted. A disaster. She ran her fingers down the screen to direct my gaze. Minus $99, minus $499, minus $499, minus $299, minus $399, minus $499, minus $499. Every other number was more than my rent. What are these? She started scrolling. Refunds. All of them. From the 2 gyms we launched last month. Wait. How? Why? She scrolled more. I got lots of weird texts last night from members we sold at the Kentucky gym. I guess the owner stood up on a chair and told everyone to refund and go home. He didn't want to deal with all the new customers. That's insane, I said. She was still scrolling. Yeah, and the other gym owner told his new customers he would take them for half the price if they asked for refunds from us and then paid him instead. Wait, what? They can't do that, I said. Well, they did. She scrolled faster. The numbers blurred. Have you called them? That's not allowed in the agreement, I said. Yeah, I know. They're ignoring my calls. I put my hand on hers. The refund waterfall froze in place. Hundreds of droplet-sized reminders of how much I sucked. How bad is this? How many refunds? Just cutting profits? Or enough to go negative and owe money? I tried to keep my voice steady. I failed. Layla paused before answering. It's 150 grand. The number hung in the air. We won't be able to pay my friends. Their faces flashed through my mind, and the little hope I had drained from my chest. A month earlier, I got her friends to quit their jobs for this. Now I had to tell them I didn't have the money to pay them. She continued, we can't sell our way out of this either. It'll just create more refunds to deal with, and we're out of money. Her eyes met mine, looking for answers she deserved. I had nothing. I felt sick. A year earlier, I was good at getting leads for my gyms. I scaled to 5 locations in only 3 years. My claim to fame was opening my gyms at full capacity on the first day. So I opened as many as I could as fast as I could. My fast pace started getting attention. I got asked to speak at a conference about my advertising method. To me, though, I didn't think my process was special. I figured everyone was doing it. So I walked through my presentation hoping I wasn't boring the audience. They were silent. The moment I stepped off stage, a mob formed around me. They hurled questions at me left and right. I could barely keep up. They even followed me to the bathroom. I felt like a celebrity. It was wild. To this day, I've never been more bombarded in my entire life. Everyone wanted me to teach them how to do what I had just presented. They wanted my help. Me. But I had nothing to sell them. Although, over 100 people left me their phone numbers and business cards in case I did. Then a wild idea came to me. I could make some money doing this stuff. 3 months later, an idea turns into a business. Since I used advertising to launch my gyms at full capacity, I thought maybe I could launch other people's gyms to full capacity too. I called the company Gym Launch. Original, I know. My offer was simple. I'll fill your gym in 30 days for free. You pay nothing. I pay for everything. I sell new members and keep the first 6 weeks of membership fees as payment. You get everything else. If I don't fill your gym, I don't make money. You spend nothing either way. It was an easy offer to sell. I'd fly out, turn on my lead machine, work the leads, then sell the leads. Except instead of selling them into my gym, I'd sell them into whatever gym I was camped at for the month. Every month I'd go to a new gym. Rinse and repeat. It worked. Word of this kid who'd fill your gym for free got around fast. Unless I hired help, referrals would have booked me out for more than 2 years straight. I couldn't keep running my gyms and doing this, so I sold my gyms and went all in on Gym Launch. I saw a problem though. I filled their gyms and they got to keep all the long-term profits. I left so much money on the table. But if I were part owner of some of the gyms, I could stack revenue month over month. Bingo. Not much later, one of the gym owners made such an offer. We'd be 50-50. I would fill the gym with members, and he would fill it with staff. With this new model, I could open up 1 to 2 gyms per month and own them all. This would work much better than only collecting the upfront cash. A win-win partnership. A slight hitch in the plan, though. My new partner had, quote, poor financials. So, nice guy Alex offered to pay all the expenses to take on all the liability for the first launch. I personally guaranteed the lease and would spend my time and my money to fill it with members. Once filled, I would hand the gym over to him. I put all the money from selling my gyms, including my life savings, into this, quote, launch and go model. It took everything I had. A few weeks later, halfway through the launch, I woke up to find all the money in my account gone. All of it. The partner accused me of stealing and took the money as his share of the profits, but we hadn't made any profit. Then, he sent the money to a foreign contact and filed for bankruptcy. That's what he told me anyway. When I offered to walk through the financials and account for every dollar, he refused. That's when I knew I had made a terrible mistake. It turns out he'd been indicted for fraud a few years earlier. And to make matters worse, I already knew. He told me it was just a big misunderstanding. I believed him. And as the saying goes, when money meets experience, the money gets the experience, and the experience gets the money. Lesson learned. In 3 months, I went from a successful multi-location gym owner to selling all my gyms, to a cool new gym launching thing, to completely broke. Everything I made from selling my gyms was gone. My life savings was gone, wiped out, all of it. 4 years of work, saving, sleeping on the floor, erased in, oh no, Layla. Layla quit her life as she knew it to do this with me. She weathered my constant changes. She supported me in the half-baked partnership, even though she opposed it. Even with this huge failure, she never once hinted, I told you so. Instead, she told me, the gym launch model is still good. Let's do more of those. So we did. I put $3,300 per day on a credit card to pay for ads, airfare, hotel, rental cars, etc. for 6 sales reps, Layla's friends. I say this lightly, but I covered what a nightmare it was in the first one, so I won't repeat it here. In the first month, we launched 6 gyms and collected $100,117. We made enough to cover the $100,000 credit card bill. And for the record, that meant I was still broke. The next month, we made $177,399 with $30,000 to $40,000 in profit. It gave me some room to breathe, finally. And that's when Layla tapped me on the shoulder to share the $150,000 worth of bad news. Now you're caught up. The morning after Layla told me we had $150,000 in refunds and lost all our money, again. A honking horn startled me at 3 a.m. My problems flooded back to me. Well, I'm awake now. I pulled myself out of bed and slinked to my work corner. I walked over out of habit more than desire. I slid the chair out and plopped down, notebook and pen at the ready. I had to make $150,000 in profit, not revenue, in 30 days. And I had to do it with no money to my name and no experience making that much profit in a month, ever. So I started scribbling ideas. charge an upfront fee for new gyms, ask for a percentage of revenue from old gyms, get gyms already launched to prepay for a future launch, call every old customer and sell them supplements over the phone. I kept penciling the math. None of these would make enough money. Not in 30 days anyway. I felt glued to the chair. I have to figure this out. I stared at the notebook, hoping it knew something. It didn't. God, I suck. A few hours later, Layla woke up. Like clockwork, she walked into the kitchen and poured a cup of coffee. She got straight to work at the kitchen table behind me. "What you doing?" I asked, trying to distract myself. "Check-ins with online fitness clients," she said. "What does that bring in again?" $3,600 last month. "What do you charge?" $300 a month. Why? How long does it take you? A few hours a week. And there's no overhead, just time? Yeah, why? I plowed on. I know these are old personal training clients, but do you think you could do it with strangers? I don't know, probably. What are you thinking? I think I have something, I said. Wait, for what? To come up with 150 grand. What, my online training? How? She looked skeptical. We just cut the middleman and sell direct. I think I can just run ads to a sales page that book phone appointments. Then we can sell the fitness programs we've been selling at the gyms, but sell them as an online program. We already have the materials. We already know the ads work, and there won't be any cost to fulfill. Plus, no more flights, no rentals, no motels, and no gym owner telling them to refund. She hesitated. You think it could work? Honestly, no idea. But every day we don't do something is one less day to come up with the money. She thought hard. All right, let's do it. And that was all I needed. I worked 38 hours straight to make an offer go live. A few hours later, leads started flowing. She took her first call the next day. I walked in as the call finished. $499. Yeah. And what card did you want to use? She had the candor of a pro. A few minutes later, I asked with anticipation, was that a sale? Yep. Dang, she is a pro. I even snapped a picture, for those who were listening audio, of Layla in this exact moment when she closed the first credit card. Just because it felt like a big moment. Within days, we were doing $1,000 per day in online fitness sales. We also got the cash up front with almost no risk of refunds. This was working. But we were still way short of the 150 grand. At lunch, she listened to my master plan between mouthfuls. Okay, so the sales guys can stay home and sell this over the phone. If they do the same 1,000 per day you are, with 8 guys, we should hit 8,000 per day. In 30 days, we'll make 240,000. After ad spend and commissions, we'll have enough to cover the 150 grand. What about the gyms we're supposed to launch? I'll call them and tell them we went in another direction. They haven't paid us anything, so there's not much they can object to. I'll start calling them after lunch. The first call was to a gym owner in Boise, Idaho. Hello? I looked down to read my bullet points on my little script. Hey man, we're not doing launches anymore. We're selling direct-to-consumer weight loss, so we won't be coming out. And he interrupted. But I really need this right now. I just refinanced my house and maxed out all my credit cards to keep the gym afloat. I put my life savings into this place. Is there any way you can help me? You launched my buddy's gyms. I know what you can do. Given my worse than yours situation, I didn't care how bad his finances were. So I tried to sound polite. I get that it's a hard time, but we're not flying out. I'm sorry. Okay, I get you can't fly out. But is there any way you can just show me what to do? We really need this. I was beat up, exhausted, broke, and felt betrayed by the entire industry. I should have said no, but instead I said, fine, I'll show you how to get the leads. But I'm not flying out there to save you if you can't sell. Totally get it. It's on me. I can close. I just don't have anyone walking the door. I need leads. How much to show me how to launch? I looked down at my script. This is not how it was supposed to go. I wanted to say no and hang up. Our weight loss offer was working, and I didn't want distractions. He'd already told me he was broke, so I said the biggest number I could think of to get him off the phone. 6 grand. Consider it my selling my secret sale. 6K? Yes, 6,000. I said, articulating the whole number, hoping to scare him off. 6K? Okay, done. What? I stood there, slack-jawed, frozen in disbelief. $6,000? I floated out of myself and watched the conversation happen. I still get choked up sometimes thinking about it. Oh, great. What card do you want to use? Now, trying not to scare away the $6,000, panicked, I wrote down his card information on the flap of a cardboard box. When do I start? He asked. I'll send you everything Monday morning. Given the insane task of packaging my entire gym leads and sales system in 48 hours, he agreed. I hung up and sat in shock. Once I came to my senses, I ran the credit card. $6,000. Success. Is this real? I desperately wanted to tell Layla, but she was on a sales call. 15 minutes later, she walked in. Got another one, she said. You won't believe this. I just sold our gym launch system for $6,000 to a gym owner in Boise. What? I thought we were doing weight loss. Yeah, I know. So did I. But she waited. I think we're still in the gym business. I think we're just doing it wrong. She needed more details. I didn't have any yet. I'm going to call the gyms we plan to launch next month and see if they'll buy it too. Okay, she said. The next call went the same when he said, how much? I said, 8,000. He agreed. Next call, same thing, except I said 10,000. He agreed. All 8 gyms we plan to launch said yes to licensing the launch materials instead. In a single day, I collected $60,000 selling something with zero cost to fulfill. In a single day, I was a third of the way out of my $150,000 prison. I spent 5 years developing that advertising system. It finally paid off. Doing the thing that scared me most, giving away my secrets, led to the biggest breakthrough of my life. I can't believe it, I said. I think we can get out of this. So, are we not doing the weight loss thing? Layla said. No, I guess not. I think we had something here all along. We just had to put the pieces together. Do you think anyone else will buy it? I'm gonna call the 30 gyms we already launched. They know our system works because we did it in front of them. We also had some gym owner leads from that conference. That should cover the 150 grand and give us a clean slate. Okay, then what? Is this what we're gonna do? She looked for some well-deserved stability. I mean, I think so. It makes more money than the other thing, and it's way easier to deliver. She agreed. So after I call these leads, I'll start running ads. I'll post our success stories in a few gym groups to get leads from there. And I'll also tell the gyms I'll pay $2,000 in cash for any gym they send that signs up. That gives us ad leads, content leads, and referral leads. In the next 30 days, we made $215,000 in profit. We covered the 150 grand in refunds with cash to spare. We did so well because the average gym owner using our advertising system added an extra $30,000 in cash in their first 30 days. It made them more money than they paid for it. It delivered in spades. Plus, they got to keep all the cash. They loved it. Referrals poured in. I found the processing records from May to June of 2017, the month it all happened. You can see them below. We finished that year at $6,820,000 in revenue. The next calendar year, we did $25.9 million in revenue and $17 million in profit. Yeah, tens of millions. It was insane, like nuts. The company continues to this day with 4,500 plus gym locations and counting, and no one is more surprised than me. Something I made actually worked, finally. In 2018, we started Prestige Labs to sell supplements to our gym client base. We used Prestige Labs and the gyms as an affiliate network to generate weight loss leads for each other. In 2019, we started Allen, a new type of software company that worked leads for local businesses. In 2020, we founded Acquisition.com, a holding company for our business interests. In 2021, we sold 75% of Allen to a bigger company. I'm not allowed to say for how much, but Allen did $12 million in revenue the prior 12 months, so you can use your imagination. We sold 66% of our supplement and gym licensing business to American Pacific Group at a $46.2 million valuation. And that was after taking $42 million in owner pay over the first 4 years. I share this because I can still hardly believe it. All of this was because of a girl who believed in me, a credit card, and the ability to get leads. Important disclaimer. Knowing how to get leads saved my business, my reputation, and likely my life. It was the only way I stayed afloat. It was the reason I kept getting second, third, fourth, and fifth chances. During my hardest days, I repeated the same phrase to myself. I cannot lose if I do not quit. I advertise a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. I advertise to get online weight loss leads for Layla. I advertise to get gym owner leads to sell business services. I advertise to get affiliate leads for our supplement company. I advertise to get agency leads for our software, and so on. Getting leads has been my get-out-of-jail-free card with no expiration date, and at this point, it's faded and worn with use. I'd like to share this skill with you. I can show you how to get more leads. And here's your first piece of good news. By reading these words, you're already in the top 10%. Most people buy stuff and never crack it open. I'll also throw out a spoiler. The further you get, the bigger the nuggets get. Just watch. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for allowing me to do work I find meaningful. Thank you for lending me your most valuable asset, your attention. I promise to do my best to give you the highest return possible on it. This book delivers. The world needs more entrepreneurs. It needs more fighters. It needs more magic. And that's what I'm going to share with you. Magic. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the book right now. If you don't know this, the mission of Acquisition.com is to make real business education accessible to everyone. And the only way we can reach everyone is if you choose to share this. And so if you've been enjoying this, you've been getting value from this chapter and any of the rest of the podcast episodes, if you could just take a second and ship this to a friend, just click the one button and send it to somebody or share it on your stories, it would mean the world to me, and it would ultimately send this message to more people. So if you could do that now, it would mean a lot. The problem this book solves: leads. Lots of leads. You have a problem. You're not getting as many leads as you want because you're not advertising enough. Period. As a result, your potential customers are ignorant of your existence. How sad. This means less money flows your way. So now that you know you have a problem, unless you hate helping people and making money, you kind of have to solve it. How this book solves it. To make more money, you've got to grow your business. You can only grow your business in 2 ways. Number 1, get more customers. Number 2, make them worth more. That's it. I grow our portfolio companies with this exact framework. When $100 million leads focuses on number 1, getting more customers. You get more customers by getting, number 1, more leads. Number 2, better leads. Number 3, cheaper leads. Number 4, reliably. Think from lots of places. Bottom line, all else being equal, when you double your leads, you double your business. This book shows you how to transform your business into a lead-getting machine. Once you apply its models, you instantly increase lead flow. And, like cash flow, when leads flow, it's hard to not make money. This book will solve your not getting enough leads problem for good. In a nutshell, I will show you how to get strangers to want to buy your stuff. What's in it for me? In one word, trust. I give this book and the courses that come with it for free or at cost in the hopes of earning your trust. I want this book to provide more value than any $1,000 course, $30,000 coaching program, or $100,000 degree. Although, I could sell these materials that way. I don't want to. I have a different model. I'll explain it below. Who am I looking to help? I want to provide value to 2 types of entrepreneurs. The first is under $1 million per year in profit. My goal is to help you get to $1 million per year in profit for free, and in doing so, earn your trust. Try a couple tactics from this book, get some leads, try a few more, and get more leads. The more leads you get, the better. Do it enough, and you become the second type of entrepreneur, the type making over $1 million of EBITDA, fancy word for profit, per year. Once you get there, or if that's you now, it would be my honor to invest in your business and help you scale. I don't sell coaching, masterminds, courses, or anything like that. I invest. I buy equity in growing, profitable bootstrap companies. Then I use the systems, resources, and teams of all my companies to fast track the growth of your company. But don't believe me yet. We just met. Author note. Our investment criteria have changed since the last book. If you notice some changes in our investment criteria, you're right. We changed our minimum investment threshold from $3 million in revenue to $1 million in profit. On top of that, we used to primarily invest in education and service businesses, but our portfolio has expanded. We've done quite well outside of those industries. So now, as long as business meets our size requirements and is profitable, cash flowing, and growing, we consider investing in it. My business model, acquisition.com. The business model is simple. Number 1, provide better free products than the market's paid products. 2, earn the trust of entrepreneurs who make over $1 million in profit per year. Then invest in those entrepreneurs to fast track their growth. And then finally, help everyone else for free, for good. Our process reverse engineers success. The winners know my models work for them because they already have. And I know the winners will use them because they already do. So we operate on shared trust. This approach avoids failures and increases the likelihood of success. Win-win. Easy to say, but let me show you how much of a difference our process makes. Within the first 12 months, our average portfolio company, 1.8x's revenue and 3.01x's profits. And we partner for the long haul. That's just the first 12 months. Our average portfolio company, who's been with us between 12 and 24 months, 2.3x's revenue and 4.7x's profits. As a fun exercise, plug your numbers in to see what it would look like for you. This stuff works. That's how I know the models I'm about to share with you work. They already have. Acquisition.com's mission: to make real business accessible to everyone. Businesses solve problems. Businesses make the world better. There are too many problems for any one person to solve. And I can't cure cancer, end hunger, or solve the world's energy crisis, for now. But I can provide value to the entrepreneurs who build the businesses that will. I want to help create as many businesses as possible so we can solve as many problems as we can. So I share these business building frameworks rather than hoard them. Fair enough? Cool, let's press on. Basic outline of this book. I laid this book out from 0 clients, 0 leads, 0 advertising, 0 money, 0 skills, section 2, to max clients, max leads, max advertising, max money, and max skills, section 4. We need to learn more skills as we progress in the book. And when we have more skills, we can get more leads in the same amount of time. So we finish with the most complex skills that get us the most leads for our time spent. We save them for the end because they take lots of skills and money. And getting good and having money takes time. I want this book to help a person get their first 5 clients and crack their first $10 million month and beyond. This order also reminds those with skills and money, myself included, of the basics we stopped doing. Our businesses deserve better. Respecting the tried and true methods that got you to your current level will probably get you to the next one. Masters never don't do the basics. So We go from getting your first lead all the way to building a $100 million plus leads machine. Here's the breakdown. Section 1, you're about to finish reading it right now. Section 2, I reveal what makes advertising really work. Most entrepreneurs think about advertising the wrong way. And since they think about advertising the wrong way, they do the wrong stuff to get leads. You want to do the right stuff to get leads. This is the way. Section 3, we learn advertising's core 4. There are only 4 ways to get leads. So if there's a most important how-to section, it's this one. Section 4, we learn how to get other people, customers, employees, agencies, and affiliates, to do it all for you. And this completes the assembly of your fully functioning $100 million leads machine. Section 5, we wrap up with a 1-page advertising plan you can use to get more leads today. Golden ticket. We invest in companies doing over $1 million in profit to help them scale. If you would like us to invest in your business to scale, go to acquisition.com. You can also find free books and courses so good they'll grow your business without your consent. Hope you enjoyed the first chunk of one. Welcome to the game. This is a special edition $100 million Leads podcast. These are the actual chapters from the audiobook that I made free for everyone here. We're going to be covering get understanding why leads alone aren't enough and how to engage your leads. These have been huge lessons for me, and I hope that they serve you. Section 2, get understanding. Advertising simplified. In this section, we cover 3 things to make sure advertising does exactly what we want it to do. First, we talk about what a lead actually is. If we want more of them, we better be darn well sure we're talking about the same thing. Second, we learn how to separate leads that make you money from the leads that waste your time. Third, we show you the best way I know to get the leads that make you money to show interest in the stuff you sell. Let's dive in. Leads alone aren't enough. If you can't explain something in simple terms, then you don't understand it. Dr. Richard Feynman, Nobel Prize winner in physics. I'll let you in on a little secret. This book started because somebody asked me what a lead was. You'd think it would be simple, but I couldn't give a straight answer. And after 6 months of trying to figure it out, I was more confused than before. It became clear I didn't know as much about leads as I thought. My search for a clear definition of a lead snowballed into the massive project that became $100 million leads. All this to say, we've got to agree on what the heck a lead is before we dive headfirst into trying to get them. So what's a lead anyways? Someone who clicks an ad, a phone number, a person that schedules a call, a list of names, a door you knock on, a walk-in, an email address, a subscriber, a person that sees your content, etc. You see, words matter because they affect how we think. How we think affects what we do. And if words have us thinking the wrong way, then we'll probably do the wrong stuff. I hate doing the wrong stuff. So do the right stuff more and the wrong stuff less. It's best we know what words mean and how to use them. To cut the suspense, a lead is a person you can contact. That's all. If you bought a list of emails, those are leads. If you get contact information from a website or database, those are leads. The numbers in your phone are leads. People in the streets are leads. If you can contact them, they are leads. But what I came to realize was, leads alone aren't enough. We want engaged leads, people who show interest in the stuff you sell. If someone gives their contact information on a website, that is an engaged lead. If someone follows you on social media and you can contact them, that's an engaged lead. If people reply to your email campaign, they are engaged leads. The leads showing interest are the leads that matter. Engaged leads are the true output of advertising. Getting more engaged leads is the point of this book. But I couldn't call the book Engaged Leads because no one would get it. But now you do. So the next question is, how do we get leads to engage? Engage your leads. Offers and lead magnets. I don't do drugs. I am drugs. Salvador Dali. April 2016. I paid $25,000 to be in a group, and everyone told me to do a webinar. In fact, my mentor at the time told me, do a webinar every week until you make $1 million. Until then, don't ask me about anything else. This is my only path to success. I've got to figure this out. A webinar, as I understood it, was a magical presentation with a zillion slides. If somebody watched it, it would hypnotize them into buying my thing. There's so much I didn't know. Landing pages, registration pages, follow-up emails, replay emails, car close emails, presentation software, website integration, writing ads, making ad creative, figuring out where to put the ads, who to show the ads to, building a payment page, processing payments, never mind making the actual webinar. The list overwhelmed me. So I started with what I understood the most, the landing page. I built a few of those for my gyms. My mentor made millions with webinars, so I modeled his landing page. But I didn't need to make millions. I just needed to make something. Okay, now the thank you page. An entire Sunday later, the thank you page went live. Now for the big test. I put my email into the landing page and clicked sign me up and waited. My brand new thank you page loaded. Success. I still wasn't a millionaire, sad face, but it was something. The following Sunday, I sat down for my regular work on the business, not in the business ritual. I had 10 hours to figure out the next piece of this webinar puzzle. After my first cup of coffee, I decided I really didn't want to work, but I still wanted to feel productive. So I went on to my advertising group's forum to get some tips. Just got off my webinar. $32,000 in an hour. I ROI'd the entire tuition in my first week. Webinars rock. I'm never going to make this work. He joined the same month as me. He was in the same industry as me. He figured out how to make money with his webinar before me. He was stealing all the clients before I even got a chance. Everyone is making money but me. Desperate, I called other people in the group. I'll do anything for your business. Build a sales team, write your sales scripts, fix your sales process, anything. Just help me finish this webinar, please. One person agreed to help. Thank God. 8 Sundays later, the little circle next to my ad campaign turned green. It's alive. I was officially spending $150 per day on ads. All I had to do now was watch the money pour in. I was going to be rich. 3 days, $450, 80 leads, and 0 sales later. I shut it all down. I sucked. No one even watched my webinar. Meanwhile, that guy posted again about how much money he was making off this webinar stuff. Why do I suck so much? I spent most of my money to join this group, and I just set another $450 on fire. I didn't have the money to fail again. I needed the next thing to work. And if I couldn't even get anyone to watch, what was the point? The case study. I scrolled my newsfeed to see what other people were doing. An ad caught my eye. Free case study on how I spent $1 and made $120,000 in a weekend, or something like that. I punched in my email, and the page sent me to a video of walking through a successful advertising campaign. Nothing fancy, no slides, no presenting, just the dude explaining how his stuff worked. This I can do. I fired up my screen recorder. Okay, everyone, so here's the ad account of a gym we just launched. Here are the ads we ran. This is how much we spent. We sent them to this page with this offer. You can see how many leads we got here. They got this many people scheduled. This many people showed. This is how many they sold. This is how much the gym owner made. This is everything we did. If you want help setting up something like this, we'll do the whole thing for free. And we only get paid off the sales you make. If that sounds fair, book a call. It took maybe 13 minutes. Simple. I swapped the webinar out for this video and changed the headline. Free case study. How we added 213 members and $112,000 in revenue to a small gym in San Diego. They would book a call on the next page. I set up a fresh ad campaign and went to bed. The next morning. Alex, what did you do? Layla asked. What do you mean? Strangers have booked my calendar solid for the next week. Really? Yeah, did you start a new campaign or something? Yeah, but I didn't think it was going to go live so fast. Wait, people book calls? Yeah, tons. Seeing Layla's calendar stacked with appointments filled me with joy. It's working. I learned an important lesson. They didn't want my webinar, but they did want my case study. This accidental discovery showed me how getting leads actually works. You have to give people something they want. The best part is, it's easier than you think. Author note, webinars still work. Obviously, they work for the other guy in the group. But I didn't have the skills at the time to make it work. I was so scarred from my first experience, I didn't try another webinar for years. Spend your time testing the offer rather than perfecting an untested product. This was my breakthrough. I just needed to give people something simple they wanted. For gym owners, it was a case study showing how I filled gyms in 30 days. Lead magnets get leads to engage. Offers are what you promise to give in exchange for something of value. Often, a business promises to give its product or service in exchange for money. This is a core offer. If you advertise your core offer, then you go straight for the sale, the direct path to money. Advertising your core offer might be all you need to get leads to engage. Try this way first. Sometimes, though, people want to know more about your offer before they buy. This is common for businesses that sell more expensive stuff. If that's you, then you'll get more leads to engage by advertising with a lead magnet first. A lead magnet is a complete solution to a narrow problem. It's typically a lower cost or free offer to see who's interested in your stuff. And once solved, it reveals another problem solved by your core offer. This is important because leads interested in lower cost or free offers now are more likely to buy a related, higher cost offer later. Think of it like salty pretzels at a bar. If someone eats the pretzels, they'll get thirsty and order a drink. The salty pretzels solve the narrow problem of hunger. They also reveal a thirst problem to be solved by a drink, which they can get in exchange for money. The pretzels have a cost, but when done right, the drink revenue covers the cost of the pretzels and nets a profit. So your lead magnet should be valuable enough on its own that you could charge for it. And after they get it, they should want more of what you offer. This gets them one step closer to buying your stuff. A person who pays with their time now is more likely to pay with their money later. Good lead magnets get more engaged leads and customers than a core offer alone and do it for less money. So let's make a lead magnet, shall we? Pro tip, even free stuff has a cost. People will give you time before they give you their money, but time is still a cost. If your lead magnet isn't worth their time, it's overpriced. And free or not, they won't buy from you again. So look at it this way. If they think your lead magnet is worth their time, they'll think your core offer is worth their money. 7 steps to creating an effective lead magnet. Step 1. Figure out the problem you want to solve and who to solve it for. Step 2. Figure out how to solve it. Step 3. Figure out how to deliver it. Step 4. Test what's in it. Step 5. Make it easy to consume. Step 6. Make it darn good. Step 7. Make it easy for them to tell you they want more. Something to keep in mind before we start. Grand Slam offers work for free stuff as much or better than they'd work for paid stuff. So make your lead magnet so insanely good people feel stupid saying no. And yes, this means that you may have a few insanely valuable offers, even if some are free. But that's a good thing. The business that provides the most value wins, period. So let's get started. Step 1. Figure out the problem you want to solve and who to solve it for. Here's a simple example we can walk through together. Solve an engaged lead problem. And I want to solve it for businesses making less than $1 million in annual profit. With enough leads, they can make more than $1 million in annual profit. Then they qualify for my core offer, me investing in their company to help them scale. The first problem is picking the problem to solve. I use a simple model to figure this out. I call it the problem solution cycle. You can see it below. For those of you listening, it's just a circle of problem and solution that continue to go around and around. Every problem has a solution. Every solution reveals more problems. This is the never-ending cycle of business and life. And smaller problem solution cycles sit inside of larger problem solution cycles. So how do we pick the right problem to solve? We start by picking a problem that's narrow and meaningful, then solve it. And like we just learned, when we solve one problem, a new problem reveals itself. Here comes the important part. If we can solve that new problem with our core offer, we've got a winner. This is because we solved this new problem in exchange for money. That's it. Don't overthink it. Example.
Sorry, I just got another idea. On more problems I could solve with my offer. That Alex Ramosi says how every single problem comes with a solution. Every single solution comes with a smaller subset of problems. Um, so I'm just thinking of more problems that I could potentially solve that are within my skill set and just provide more value to the marketplace. Just have customers that are like, holy shit, my business cannot run without this guy. That would be pretty sweet.
Imagine we help homeowners sell their homes. This is a broad solution. What about the steps before selling a home? Owners want to know what their house is worth. They want to know how to increase its value. They need pictures. They need it cleaned. They need landscaping. They need minor things fixed. They need moving services. They may need staging, etc. These are all narrow problems, great for lead magnets. We pick one of the narrow problems and solve it for free. And although it helps, it makes their other problems seem more obvious. They still have to sell their home. But now we've earned their trust. So we can charge to solve the remaining problems with our core offer and help them achieve their broader goal. Action step. Pick the narrowly defined problem you want to solve, then make sure your core offer can solve the next problem that comes up. Step 2. Figure out how to solve it. There are 3 types of lead magnets and each offers a different type of solution. First, if your audience has a problem they don't know about, your lead magnet will make them aware of it. Second, you could solve a recurring problem for a short period of time.
Interesting. So if our core offer solves speed to lead, so our core offer being like an AI receptionist, that answers leads 24/7. Another smaller, narrowly defined problem could be SEO, emergency SEO. Or how to run ads. Or how to set up a Google My Business. Or setting up a Yelp. Stuff like that.
Offer. Third, you can give them a one-step and a multi-step process that solves a bigger problem. All 3 solve one problem and reveal others. So your 3 types are 1. Reveal problems, 2. Samples and trials, 3. One step of a multi-step process. Those are the 3 lead magnet types. Number 1. Reveal their problem. Think diagnosis. These lead magnets work great when they reveal problems that get worse the longer you wait. Example, you run a speed test that shows their website loads at 30% below the speed it should. You draw a clear line between where they should be and how much money they lose by being below standards. Example, you do a posture analysis and show them what their posture should look like. You draw a clear line between what their pain-free life would look like if their posture were fixed and how you can help. Example, you do a termite inspection that reveals what happens when bugs eat their home. If they do have termites, you can get rid of them for cheaper than the cost of, let's say, another home. If they don't, they can pay you to prevent the termites from coming to begin with. You can sell them either way. Win-win. Those are examples of ways you could reveal their problem. 2. Samples and trials. You give full but brief access to your core offer. You can limit the number of uses, the time they have access, or both. This works great when your core offer is a recurring solution to a recurring problem. Example, you hook them up to your faster server and show their website loading at lightning speed. They get more customers from your faster load times. If they want to keep it, they need to keep paying you. Example, you give a free adjustment for their bad posture and they experience relief. To get permanent benefits, they must buy more. Example, food, cosmetics, medicine, or any other consumables. Consumables, by their nature, have limited uses and solve recurring problems with recurring use. So, single-serving, fun-sized, etc. samples are great lead magnets. It's how Costco sells more food than other stores. They give out samples. Pro tip, be a drug dealer. Many people make money selling drugs, legally and illegally. A free drug sample is a lead magnet. They can afford to give a, quote, hit away because once people try it, they're hooked. It's so good, they come back for more. This is why we don't dilute the value of our lead magnets or give away sucky fluff. If anything, like a drug dealer, you'd want to give the strongest hit first. It keeps them coming back for more. Your lead magnet is your first hit. The next one, they have to pay for. Be a legal drug dealer and you'll make money like one. P.S. Whatever you do, make sure it's legal.
Hey,
hope you're enjoying the book right now. Something that took me way too long to learn when it came to learning in general was that if you consume a piece of content in multiple formats, it's stored in different parts of your brain, so you're more likely to recall it in different settings. And so I started reading and listening to books at the same time, and it dramatically enhanced how quickly I could get through things and how much I recalled them. And so if that's at all interesting to you, we've made versions of the book available on Amazon, and there's obviously physical copies of the book there as well. And if you're a video learner, like I am, you can go to the site and you can consume the entire course that goes with this absolutely free. Like, you don't even have to opt in. Like, all the courses, the videos, and the downloads are available at acquisition.com. You just click courses and you can see all the courses that we have available there, and you can go through all of them if you want to. They're absolutely free. 3. One step of a multi-step process. When your core offer has steps, you can give one valuable step for free and the rest when they buy. This works great when your core offer solves a more complex problem. Example, this book. I help you get to $1 million per year in profit. Then you'll have a new problem we can help you solve and scale from there. Example, you give away a free wood sealant for a garage door, but the sealing process requires 3 different coats to protect from all weather conditions. I do the first one free, explain how it only gives partial coverage, and offer the other 2 in a bundle. Example, you give away free finance courses, guides, calculators, templates, etc. They're so valuable, people really can do it all by themselves. But they also reveal the time, effort, and sacrifice of doing it all. So you offer financial services to solve all that. Action step, pick how you want to solve your narrowly defined problem. Author note, what we can learn from dressing rooms, try before you buy. Years ago, you weren't allowed to try things on before you bought them. Then, one savvy business owner created a fitting room. Their sales presumably skyrocketed, so much so that it's now a standard practice in all clothes stores. Here's why the dressing room is so powerful. It's all 3 types of lead magnets in one. You get to try something on, like a trial. It also reveals a problem, as once you try one thing on, you might find that you need something different than you intended. And once you find a shirt you like, a good salesperson would say, do you want pants to go with it? It becomes step 1 in a multi-step process of creating an outfit. So if you can, try and get a lead magnet that does all 3. Reveal a problem, give them a taste of the solution, and show it as a small piece of a total package. Step 3, figure out how to deliver it. Delivery mechanisms. There are unlimited ways to solve problems, but my favorite lead magnets solve them with software, information, services, and physical products. And each of those works great with the 3 types of lead magnets from step 2. I'll show you what I've done to attract gym owners using each lead magnet type. Software. You give them a tool. If you have a spreadsheet, calculator, or small software, your technology does a job for them. Example, I give away a spreadsheet or dashboard that gives a gym owner all their relevant business stats, compares them to industry averages, and then gives them a rank. 2. Information. You teach them something. Courses, lessons, interviews with experts, keynote presentations, live events, mistakes and pitfalls, hacks and tips, etc. Anything they can learn from. Example, I give away a mini course for gyms on how to write an ad. 3. Services. You do work for free. Adjust their back, perform a website audit, apply the first layer of garage sealant, transform their video into an ebook, etc. Example, I run gym owners ads for free for 30 days. 4. Physical products. You give them something they can hold in their hands. A posture assessment chart, a supplement, a small bottle of garage door sealant, boxing gloves to get them into a boxing gym, etc. Example, I sell a book for gym owners called Gym Launch Secrets. With 3 different types of lead magnets and 4 ways to deliver them, that's up to 12 lead magnets that solve a single narrow problem. So many magnets, so little time. I make as many versions of lead magnet as I can and rotate them. This keeps the advertising fresh and low effort. Plus, you see which ones work best. Like my case study story at the beginning of the chapter, the results are often surprising, and you won't know until you try. Action step. As a thought exercise, think of a lead magnet and then a version of it for each delivery method. You always can, I promise. Then pick how to deliver your lead magnet. Step 4, test what to name it. David Ogilvy said, when you've written your headline, you spend 80 cents with your average.
The lead magnet is actually building the AI assistant for them. The AI assistant, AI call inbound. Or a DVR. 1, 2, 1A. Software, I could give them access, free sub accounts. Free sub accounts. 2B can be a tutorial video. Video 3C, I do it for them. 4D could be I ship them instructions, could be it.
$1. What that means is 5 times more people read your headline than any other part of your promotion. They read it and make a snap decision to read further, or not. Like Ogilvy hints, leads have to notice your lead magnet before they consume it. Like it or not, this means how we present it matters more than anything. For example, improving the headline, name, and display of your lead magnet 2x, 3x, or 10x your engagement. It's that important. Besides, if no one shows interest in your lead magnet, no one will ever know how good it is. You can't leave it to chance, so listen up. Here's what you do next. You test. The 3 things you want to test are the headline, the images, and the subheadline, in that order. The headline is the most important, so if you only test one thing, test that. For example, I had no idea what to title this book, so here's what I did to figure out which name would do the best. I tested. The results may surprise you as much as they surprise me. Here are some of my headline tests. $100 million advertising versus $100 million promotion. In round 1, advertising beat promotion 69 to 31. Round 2, advertising versus leads. Leads beat advertising 58 to 42. Leads versus marketing. Leads beat marketing 54 to 46. And I finally settled on leads. Image test. Real versus cartoon. Reel 1. Subheadlines. How to get more people to want to buy your stuff versus how to get strangers to want to buy your stuff. Strangers 1. Round 2. How to get more strangers to want to buy your stuff versus how to get strangers to want to buy your stuff. As minor as it sounds, the second one beat the first one 71 to 29. Crazy, right? Round 3. How to get as many leads as you darn well please versus how to get strangers to want to buy your stuff. Again, how to get strangers to want to buy your stuff wins. Round 4, get strangers to want to buy your stuff versus how to get strangers to want to buy your stuff. How to get strangers to want to buy your stuff, 1, 70, 30. Note, 2 things with the sub-headline tests. How to get strangers to want to buy your stuff overwhelmingly beat get strangers to want to buy your stuff. The only difference is 2 little words, how to. And it also beat how to get more strangers to want to buy your stuff with a single word removed, more. Small changes can make big differences. 2, since so many people asked, I figured I'd answer it here. I didn't subtitle the book, How to Get Strangers to Buy Your Stuff, because that's sales, not getting leads. The point of this book is to get strangers to show interest, not to buy yet. A raised hand is where this book ends. Sales will be a future book, $100 million sales, but let's solve one problem at a time. Action step, test. If people engage in droves, you've got a winner. And if you have any following at all, you can run polls like these. You don't need a lot of votes to get a directional idea. If you can't do that, make a post on every platform and ask people to respond with a 1 or 2 and then count them up. If you still can't even do that, then just message people and ask. There's always a way, and this is one of the highest leverage things you can do with your time. Make sure how you package it gets engagement and give yourself a big head start. Bonus points. If people respond to the poll and ask when they can get mega winner. Step 5, make it easy for them to consume. People prefer to do things that take less effort. Duh. So if we want more people to take us up on our lead magnet and consume it, we've got to make it easy. You can see 2x, 3x, even 4x plus increases in take rates and consumption simply by making it easier to consume. 1, software. You want to make it accessible on their phones, on a computer, and in multiple different formats. This way, they'll pick the one easiest for them. Information. People like to consume things in different ways. Some people like watching, other people like reading, others like listening, etc. Make your solution in as many different formats as you can: images, video, text, audio, etc. Offer them all. That's why this book comes in every format people consume. Service. Be available at more times in more ways. More times of day, more days of the week, via video call, phone call, in person, etc. The easier you are to get a hold of, the more likely people will become engaged leads to claim the free value. 4. Physical products. Make it super simple to order and fast to get to them. Make the product itself fast and easy to open. Give simple directions on how to use the product. Example: Apple made its product so well they didn't even need directions. And the packaging is so good, most people keep the boxes. Action step: package your lead magnet in every way you can. It dramatically increases how many engaged leads come your way. And more leads engaging with your lead magnet means more leads getting value from it. This is huge. Fun fact: my book, $100 Million Offers, has a near perfect 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4 split between ebooks, physical books, audiobooks, and videos, which are free on acquisition.com. Making the book available in multiple formats is the easiest way I know to get 2, 3 to 4x the amount of leads for the same work. If I only made it available in one format, I'd miss out on 3 to 4 times the people who wouldn't have read the book otherwise. What a shame that would have been, and what a waste. Step 6, make it darn good. Give away the secrets, sell the implementation. The marketplace judges everything you have to offer, free or not. And you can never provide too much value, but you can provide too little. So you want your lead magnet to provide so much value, people feel obligated to pay you. The goal is to provide more value than the cost of your core offer before they've bought it. Think about it this way. If you're scared of giving away your secrets, imagine the alternative. You give away sucky fluff. Then people who might have become customers think, this person sucks. They only give away sucky fluff. Then they buy from someone else. So sad. Not only that, they tell other folks who might have bought from you not to. It's a vicious cycle you don't want to ride. But remember, people buy stuff based on how much value they think they'll get after they buy it. And the easiest way to get them to think they'll get tons of value after they buy it is, drumroll please, to provide value before they buy it. Imagine a company scaled from 1 million to 10 million just by consuming my free content. The chance they'll partner with acquisition.com is huge because I paid for my share before you even started. Action step: 99% of people aren't going to buy, but they will create or destroy your reputation based on the value of your free stuff. So, make your lead magnets as good as your paid stuff. Your reputation depends on it. Provide value, stack the deck, reap the rewards. Step 7, make it easy for them to tell you they want more. Once leads consume the lead magnet, some of them will be ready to buy or learn more about your offer. This is the time to give a call to action. A call to action, CTA, tells the audience what to do next. But there's a little more to it than that, at least if you want your advertising to work. A good CTA has 2 things. 1, what to do. 2, reasons to do it right now. What to do. CTAs tell the audience to call the number, click the button, give the information, book the call, etc. There are way too many to list. Just know CTAs tell the audience how to become engaged leads. Good CTAs have clear, simple, and direct language. Not don't delay, but instead call now. Read the next paragraph to learn more. See what I did there? Reasons to do it right now. If you give people a reason to take action, more people will do it. But a couple things to keep in mind. First, good reasons work better than bad reasons. And second, any reason, even bad ones, tend to work better than no reason at all. So to get more people to take action, I include as many effective reasons as I can. Here are my favorite reasons to act now. Scarcity. Scarcity is when there's a limited amount of something, especially when there is a small supply compared to demand. When something is scarce, like your lead magnet or offer, people also tend to want it more. And this is why they're more likely to act right now. The fewer you have, the more valuable people think it is. But there's a catch. The fewer you have, the fewer engaged leads you can get before running out. So the best strategy I know for scarcity is reality. Let me explain. If you sold 1,000 times to customers tomorrow, could you handle it? If not, you have some limit on how much you can sell. Maybe you're limited by customer service, onboarding, inventory, time slots per week, etc. Don't keep it a secret, advertise it. This gives you ethical scarcity. If you can't handle more than 5 new customers per week, say so. Draw attention to the natural scarcity in your business. If you have limitations, you may as well use them to make you money. Example, the most convenient class times fill up fast. Call now to get the one you want. Example, I can only handle 5 people per week, so if you want it solved soon, do XYZ. Example, we only printed 1 batch of shirts and will never reprint this design. Get one so you don't regret missing out forever. Urgency. You can have unlimited units to sell, but let's say you stop selling them in an hour on purpose. I bet more people than normal will buy your thing in that hour. This is urgency in action. Urgency is when people act faster because they have a short amount of time. And the less time people have, the faster, more urgent they tend to act. So if you make the time they can act on your CTA shorter, you can get more of them to act on it faster. You can also use the same urgency with discounts or bonuses that go away after X minutes or hours, after which this offer will never be available again. Example, our July 4th promotion ends Monday at midnight, so if you want it, take action now. Our Black Friday promotion ends at midnight. There are only 4 hours left. Get it while the getting's good. Through Friday, I'll also throw in a free hat to anyone who buys more than 3 books. So if you want to look slick in an acquisition.com hat, buy now. Pro tip, the urgency tactic I use most. I put time limits on bonuses. This way, I don't need to change my pricing or products all the time. I can just change the bonus. I like to make a handful of valuable bonuses and rotate them each week. And if they don't take action by the end of the week, they'll actually miss out on the bonus. The best part is, it's an easy way to make the CTA more effective without capping your sales. C, fraternity party planner. My favorite. Make up a reason. Fraternities don't need a reason to party, but they sure make up some doozies. John got his wisdom teeth out. Gagger. Margarita Monday, Toga Tuesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, etc. Your reason doesn't even have to make sense, and it will still get more people to act. In fact, Harvard ran an experiment showing that people were more likely to let someone cut in line if they only gave a reason. The number of people that let other people cut increased if the reason made sense, like scarcity or urgency. But any reason still works better than no reason. So I always try and include one. Think the stuff you have to say after the word because. Examples. Because mom knows best. Because your country needs you. Because it's my birthday and I want you to celebrate with me. Action step. Give a clear, simple, action-oriented CTA. Then give them a reason why using scarcity, urgency, and any other reasons you can think of. And do it often. Don't be clever, be clear. Even if your lead magnet costs money to deliver, it should still lower your cost to get a new customer. This is because more engaged leads means more chances to get customers. And the extra customers more than cover your costs. That's the point. Let's say you make $10,000 in profit on your core offer, and it costs you $1,000 in advertising to get someone on a call for it. If you close 1 out of 3 people, it costs you $3,000 in advertising to get a customer. Since we have $10,000 in profit to work with, that's fine. But we're savvy, we can do better, so let's do better. Imagine you advertise a free lead magnet instead of your core offer. Your lead magnet costs you $25 to deliver, and because it's free to them, more will engage. The extra engagement means it only costs $75 in advertising to get someone on a call. All in, that's $100 per call, $75 plus $25. By delivering value before they buy, you get 10 times more engaged leads for the same cost. Note, this happens all the time when you nail the lead magnet. Now, let's say 1 out of 10 folks who get the lead magnet buys your core offer. This means your new cost to acquire a customer is $1,000 because it's 10 people times $100. We just cut our cost to get a customer by 3x. So instead of spending $3,000 to get a new customer, by using a lead magnet, we spend only $1,000. Given we make $10,000, it's a 10-to-1 return. So if we keep our advertising budget the same and use a lead magnet, we triple our business. Remember, the goal is to print money, not just make our fair share. This is where experienced business owners beat newbies. With a $25 budget to deliver your lead magnet, you can provide far more value than a $0 budget. Crazy, I know. You attract more customers because your lead magnet is more valuable than other people's, oftentimes by a lot. This translates into more strangers becoming engaged leads. It also translates into more sales because you provide more value in advance. Win, win, win. Action steps. Step 0. If you're struggling to get leads, make an amazing lead magnet. Step 1. Figure out the problem you want to solve for the right customer. Step 2. Figure out how you want to deliver it. Step 3. Figure out how to deliver it. Step 4. Make the name interesting and clear. Step 5. Make it easy to consume. Step 6. Make sure it's darn good. Step 7. Tell them what to do next, why it's a good idea, do it clearly, and do it often. Section 2, conclusion. My goal with this book is to demystify the lead getting process. In the first chapter, we covered why leads alone aren't enough. You need engaged leads. In the second chapter, we covered how to get leads to engage, a valuable lead magnet or offer. And a good lead magnet does 4 things. 1, it engages ideal customers when they see it. 2, gets more people to engage than your car offer alone. 3, is valuable enough they consume it. 4, makes the right people more likely to buy. So, more people show interest in our stuff, we make more money from them, and we deliver more value than we ever have, all at the same time. Next up, we've armed ourselves with a powerful lead magnet. Now, I'll show you the 4 ways we can advertise it. In other words, now that we have the stuff, we gotta tell people about it. Let's get some leads. Free gift number 1.
We're back. We're back after a plethora of stuff that went down, guys. All I gotta say is we need to make this work.
This tutorial on making the ultimate lead magnet. If you want a more in-depth
because
look
if
at
we
how
don't,
create insanely good lead magnets, go to
we're fucked.
acquisition.com/training/leads. It's free and publicly available. As promised, my goal is to earn your trust.
literally, physically, mentally, psychologically,
It sold over 200,000 copies with no publisher, no advertising campaign. I launched it before I had an audience, truly off of word of mouth.
Alex Ramosi just launched a brand new book. It's $100 million offers.
$100 million offers.
And so people read the book, shared the book.
You need to create a grand slam offer.
If people aren't sharing it on their own, then it's not worth promoting because it's not good enough. I think that when I die, the thing that I will be most proud of is not the businesses that I've built, but the books that I've written. I think the books will outlive anything else, and I think that they will help more people. That's why I spend right now about 20 to 25 hours a week, every week, on my book. Most authors pretty much only... I'm super excited about the episode today. This is a special edition $100 million leads audiobook podcast collab between myself and myself. I'm going to be covering getting leads in general and warm outreach. This is how you get your first 5 customers. This is how I got my first 5 customers. If you want to start a business, you have a business, and you're doing less than $500,000 a year, like this chapter I wrote for you. Section 3, get leads. The core 4 advertising methods. We get engaged leads by letting know about our stuff. And there are 2 types of people we let know. People who know us and people who don't. And there are 2 paths of letting them know about it. One-to-one and one-to-many. Those combine into the 4 basic ways one person can let another person know about anything. Let's break down how we can use those 4 ways to get us leads. 2 types of audiences, warm and cold. Warm audiences are people who gave you permission to contact them. Think people who know you, aka friends, family, followers, current customers, previous customers, contacts, etc. Cold audiences are people who have not given you permission to contact them. Think strangers, aka other people's audiences. Buying contact lists, making contact lists, paying platforms for access, etc. The difference matters because it changes how we advertise to them. 2 ways to communicate. One-to-one, private, one-to-many, public. We can contact people one-to-one or one-to-many. Another way of thinking about this is private or public communication. Private communication is when only one person gets a message at a time. Think phone call or email. If you announce something publicly, many people get it at the same time. Think social media posts or billboards or podcasts. Now, automation can make this seem confusing. Don't let it. Automation just means some of the work is done by machines. The nature of the communication stays the same. Email, for instance, is one-to-one. Emailing a 10,000 person list once is more like one-to-one really fast by a machine. Automation, which we cover later, is one of the many ways you can get leads on steroids. Like audiences, the difference between public and private communication matters because they change how we advertise. Section 3 outline. Get leads. Combining warm and cold audiences with one-to-one and one-to-many leads us to the only 4 ways we can let anyone know about anything, the core 4. I combine them below for you. One-to-one to a warm audience, warm outreach. One-to-many to a warm audience, posting content. one-to-one to a cold audience, cold outreach, one-to-many to a cold audience, paid ads. These are the only 4 things you can do to let other people know about the stuff you sell, and each method takes us one step closer to the land of overflowing leads. I refer to the core 4 throughout the rest of the book, so get to know them. In fact, make them part of yourself. Once you do, you will have your own get-out-of-jail-free card to carry around forever. It will give you as many chances to succeed at business as you could ever want for the rest of your life, or at least it has for me. So if you aren't getting as many leads as you want, you're not doing the core 4 with enough skill or with enough volume. We cover all this stuff in lots of detail: how they work, how to do them, when to do them, and show how to measure your progress along the way. This simplifies the overly confusing world of advertising into 4 core actions. Either do them and get as many leads as you darn well please, or get crushed by those who do. Free gift, bonus training, the core 4 framework. I did a live training where I explained the 50 plus iterations that created this simple 2x2 box. I explained how to use the core 4 framework to get the most leads possible and create goals within your company. If you want it, you can get it for free here at acquisition.com/training/leads. You can also scan the QR code below if you hate typing. Warm outreach. How to reach out to people you know. The world belongs to those who can keep doing without seeing the result of their doing. May 2013, starting out. For the 3rd time that day, I pulled out my phone and checked my bank account. $51,128.13. I let out a small sigh of relief. It's amazing how years of work and saving can fit into such a tiny screen. Feeling good for the moment, I switched over to social media to get some more dopamine. Friends from college were applying to business school. Acceptance letters filled my newsfeed. I too started the business school application process. I had a choice. I could either quit my job and go to business school, or I could quit my job and start a business. The application stared back at me. How will a Harvard MBA help your short and long-term goals? That question changed my life. I spent 3 days trying to answer it. At the end of the 3rd day, I saw the truth. It wouldn't. $150,000 in loans in 2 years without income wouldn't help me start a business. At least not as much as starting a business and taking 2 years to figure it out. I could make the same amount by the time I graduate and skip the debt. Or at least, that's what I told myself. So I quit my job and took the steps to start my business. I set up Impetus Group LLC. Check. I set up a business banking account. Check. I set up a merchant account to process payments. Check. There still wasn't any money coming in, but at least I felt legit. Impetus Group LLC. Say it out loud, which you guys can now already hear. The first person I told about my new business said, "Impotence? God, I suck." No wonder the name was available. I immediately changed it to the Free Training Project. Name that doesn't suck? Check. I was in business. But I had a problem. I didn't know anything about advertising or sales, but I did know I needed clients. So I just asked around where I could. I called, I texted, and I sent Facebook messages to a bunch of people I knew. Hey, do you know anyone who's trying to get in shape? I'm training people for free for 12 weeks. On top of that, I'll make them a custom nutrition and grocery list. All they have to do is donate to a charity of their choice and let me use their testimonial. Only 6 people said yes. 6. 2 high school friends, 1 college friend, and 3 people they referred. I emailed everyone fitness plans and we got to work. We texted during the week to keep tabs on progress. Thankfully, they were all friends of mine, so they gave it their all. They encouraged me more than anyone in the beginning. A decade later, I still have their before and after pictures. And this is where the decision to skip business school started to come back to haunt me. A few months into this, I was less sure of myself. My pile of money didn't look as big without new money coming in every month. And it started turning into a real problem. So, after 12 weeks of the pay a charity period, I asked them to pay me instead. I was the charity now. Ha. I worried they'd be upset to pay me instead, but they didn't seem to mind. Once they got results, I asked them to send their friends over. To my surprise, I got another 5 or 6 clients from their referrals. I asked the referrals to pay me directly. Again, none of them minded. That little business made about $4,000 per month and replaced the income from my first job. It gave me enough money to live on and some. My savings started to grow again. Sigh of relief. If this business sounded straightforward, it's because it was. I emailed clients their plans and they texted me questions they had along the way. That's about it. So if you're starting, you don't need a lot. All you need is a tax ID, a bank account, a way to take payments, and a way to communicate with people. But that last part, a way to communicate with people, is the most important part. It's how you get leads. So even though I had no idea I was doing warm reach outs, one of the core 4, it's how I got my first leads. I still get leads this way, just with bigger numbers. And I'll show you how you can too. How warm reach outs work. Warm reach outs are when you make one-to-one contact with your warm audience, aka the people who know you. It's the cheapest and easiest way to find people interested in the stuff you sell. It's super effective. And most businesses don't do it. Don't be like most businesses. Also, you do have a warm audience, even if you don't know it. Everybody knows somebody. so your personal contacts are the easiest place to start. Warm reach outs usually come in the form of calls, texts, emails, direct messages, voicemails, etc. And like we learned in section 2, you advertise one of two things. You let them know about your lead magnet, something free and valuable, or you let them know about your core offer, the main thing you sell. When you start doing warm reach outs, you don't get many engaged leads for your time. You do everything on your own and make each message personal, but for that reason, it is reliable. As certain as the sun sets and rises, it works. Note, reaching out to your warm audience works whether you have 100 contacts or 1,000,000 contacts. So as your business grows, you will use automation and employees to make it more efficient. The systems start small with you, but they scale all the way up. I detail how to scale these systems to larger audiences in section 4. How to do warm reach outs in 10 steps. Warm reach outs are a fantastic way to get your first 5 clients for any new product or service. Advanced folks, think re-engagements and new product lines. Here's how to do it. Step 1, get your list. Step 2, pick a platform. Step 3, personalize your message. Step 4, reach out. Step 5, warm them up. Step 6, invite their friends. Step 7, make them the easiest offer in the world. Step 8, start at the top. Step 9, start charging. Step 10, keep your list warm. All right, let's rock and roll. Step 1, but I don't have any leads. Everyone has a list. You know other humans. Let me prove it to you. Grab your phone. Inside you have contacts. Each contact has subscribed to communication from you. They have given you the means and permission to contact them. Pull up all the email accounts you've ever used over the years. Pull your contacts and address list from each. Bingo. Look at all them leads. Now, go to your social media profiles. See your followers, subscribers, friends, connections, or whatever the kids call them these days. Eureka, you got more leads. Add up all your contacts from all the platforms. Seriously, figure out the number. Between your phone, email, social media, and other platforms, you will have more than enough contacts to get started. For many of you, this will be your first 1,000 leads. Would you look at that? I don't have any leads. Psh, just found some. And if you're terrified you'll have to talk to people, relax. You'll like what I'm going to show you next. Step 2, but I don't know where to start. Pick a platform. Pick the platform you have the most contacts on. Phone, email, social media, mail, carrier pigeon, etc. It doesn't matter. Just pick the one with the most contacts. You'll hit them all eventually anyways. Step 3, but what do I say? Personalize your greeting. Use something you know about the contact as your actual reason to reach out. If you don't have much personal info, you can check their social media profiles, etc. to learn a bit about them first. Don't be a weirdo. Pay your social dues. Remember, you haven't asked for anything. You're just checking in and providing value. So relax. Example, saw you just had a baby. Congrats. How's the baby doing? How are you? Step 4, now what? Reach out to 100 people every day. To get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. Charlie Munger. Now, reach out to 100 of them per day with your personalized messages. You'll call, text, email, message, send a postcard, etc. And you will reach out to them up to 3 times, once per day for 3 days or until they respond, whichever comes first. Once per week with physical mail. Pro tip, rip off the Band-Aid. The first reach out is always the hardest and takes the longest. Your second reach out will take minutes. Your third, seconds. Be okay with sucking. It's new. This is how we learn. When thinking about starting new things, I remember this Chinese proverb. Everything must be hard before it can be easy. Step 5. What do I say when they respond? Act like a human. Now we can break the ice without sounding icky. Reply using the ACA framework. A. Acknowledge what they said, restated in your own words. This shows active listening. Example. 2 kids and you're an accountant, ... C. Compliment them on whatever they just told you. Tie it to a positive character trait if you can. Example, wow, supermom, so hardworking, managing a full-time career and 2 kids, ... A. Ask another question. Lead the conversation in whatever direction you want. In this case, a topic closer to your offer. Examples, if I were selling therapy or life coaching, do you get time for yourself? If I were selling fitness or weight loss, do you have time to get your workouts in? If I were selling cleaning services, do you have anyone who helps you keep the house tidy? The ACA framework is great because it helps you talk to anyone. It just so happens it's also useful for letting people know about your stuff. This means you can learn about the person and guide the conversation towards your offer. People love talking about themselves, so let them. They also love to be complimented, so do that too. And if people feel good when talking to you, they'll like and trust you more. You want people to like and trust you more. Besides, it's solid practice to find the good in everyone anyway. Speaking of practice, this will take practice, and that's okay. Pro tip, on email, you'll be more upfront. On email, you will have a personalized opener to show you actually took the time to research them in some way. Think 2 to 3 sentences. Then you'll transition directly to your offer lead magnet, which we'll talk about next. You sort of do it all at once with email or voicemails. Step 6. How do I know if they're interested? Make them an offer. Get through a, quote, normal amount of conversation. Think 3 to 4 exchanges if on the phone or messaging, and 3 to 4 minutes if in person. Then you'll make them an offer to see if they're interested. When I make an offer from scratch, I refer to the value equation. If you're wondering, what's the value equation? It was the core concept of my first book, $100 Million Offers. Value, as I define it, has 4 elements. 1, dream outcome. What the person wants to happen, the way they want it to happen. State the best possible results your product can get. Big bonus points if those results come from people like the one you're talking to. 2, perceived likelihood of achievement. How likely they think it is for them to achieve their goal. Include reviews, results, awards, endorsements, certifications, and other forms of third-party validation. Also, guarantees are huge. 3, time delay. How long they believe it'll take to get the results after they buy. Describe how fast people start getting results and how often they get results when they start, and how long it takes to get the best possible results. 4, effort and sacrifice. The bad stuff they'll have to endure and the good stuff they'll have to give up in their struggle to get the result. Show them the good stuff they can keep doing or get to do and still get results, and show them the bad stuff they can get rid of or avoid doing and still get the results. The goal is to maximize the first 2 and minimize the second 2. So all you have to do is now show someone you have exactly what they want, they're guaranteed to get it insanely fast without lifting a finger or giving up anything they love. No biggie, right? Obviously, that's ideal. We got to get as close to that without lying or exaggerating. So let's just do it with a real life offer. ... By the way, do you know anybody who is, describe their struggle, looking to dream outcome in time delay? I'm taking on 5 case studies for free because that's all I can handle. I just want to get some testimonials for my product or service. I help them dream outcome without effort and sacrifice. It works. I even guarantee people dream outcome, or I work with them until they do. I just had a girl named XXX work with me, dream outcome, even though she described the same struggle the contact has. I also had a guy dream outcome, and it was his first time. I just like more testimonials to show it works across different scenarios. Does anyone you like come to mind? Pause if on the phone. If they say no, say, haha, well, does anyone you hate come to mind? Ha, this breaks any awkwardness. Pro tip, implied perceived likelihood of achievement. You'll notice, besides the guarantee, there's no slot for perceived likelihood of achievement. But how we explain the testimonials fulfills that need. After all, we're not going to say, hey, I can obviously help you because I've helped someone exactly like you. But we imply that by selecting the testimonial that's as close to their situation as possible. And the longer you are in business, the more perfect fit testimonials you'll have to show. So the easier it'll be to show testimonials that perfectly match the person you're speaking with. Then, once you can show one perfect testimonial, the only thing better is a buttload of them. There's an important feature here. We're not asking them to buy anything. We're asking if they know anyone. And of the people who say yes, most say they are interested. This entire thing is engineered to boost their perceived likelihood of achievement. It's why we show struggles and results from people like them who have struggled like theirs. But we let them connect the dots. Since you didn't ask them to buy anything, you don't come off as pushy. Some people will show interest in your stuff. Some will refer you to those who might. Some will do both. In all 3 outcomes, you win. And you win without pushing anything on anyone. If you have even less time or space to deliver it, just use the value elements back to back. I help ideal customer get dream outcome in time period without effort and sacrifice and increase perceived likelihood of achievement. Look at the pro tip below. Note, these work well for emails, text, direct messages, calls, and in-person touch points in an elevator. Just fill in the blanks. Pro tip, 11 ways to increase perceived likelihood of achievement. Here's how you increase the perceived likelihood of achievement so more people take you up on your offer. Include 1 or more of the following. 1, showing proof we have done what they want, our own story. 2, showing proof of people just like them getting what they want, think testimonials. 3, the sheer volume of happy reviews we've received, think lots of 5 stars. And if you don't have reviews yet, even the number of people you've helped works. 4, certifications, degrees, third-party accreditations that were legit. 5, numbers, stats, research that support the outcome you want them to believe. 6, experts vouching for us. 7, some new, unique characteristic they haven't failed with before, so they think it might work this time. 8, celebrities who have endorsed us. They trusted them, so should I. 9. Guaranteeing they'll achieve it, so we put some of our own skin in the game too. 10. How well you describe them or the current pain they're experiencing. The more specific, the better. They should think, he really gets me. They must know how to help. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the book chapter that you're listening to right now, $100 Million Leads. I took a long time putting it together for you. And so my only ask is that you just take a quick second and leave a review for the book on Amazon. It's the #1 way that people find books. And this is a way of getting more people into our world. And so our mission at acquisition.com is to make real business education accessible to everyone. And I need your help. And so if you could do that, just that one small action, it has a trade for the 2 years that I took putting this book together for you, it would mean the world to me. So thank you. 11. If possible, demonstrate the outcome live or show a recording of it happening. Example, advertising agency plays a recording of a call that a gym owner has to make to a lead on a sales call. Could you handle making a call like this to a lead if we got them for you? It demonstrates the outcome of the advertising services. People don't want leads, they want customers. They just don't know a better way to ask for them. Step 7. How do I get them to say yes? Make it easy for them to say yes and make it free. After people show interest, make your offer easy to say yes to. I like to start with the easiest offer enhancer in the world, free. And don't try to look advanced if you're not. People aren't dumb. Just be honest and keep it simple. Since I'm only taking on 5 people, I can give you all the attention you need to get brag-worthy results. And I'll give it to you all for free so long as you promise to 1, use it, 2, give me feedback, and 3, leave a killer review if you think it deserves one. Does that sound fair? This sets reasonable expectations up front. And boom, now you're just helping people for free. Winning. Pro tip, stack yeses to build early momentum. Early on, I felt terrified to ask for money. So, if you recall from the story above, I told people I would work with them for free as long as they donated to a charity of their choice. I still got them invested in their results, but asking them for a feel-good tax write-off felt like a much safer way to do it. By the way, this was the first thing I ever sold. Looking back, I wanted easy, low-pressure yeses under my belt. And those early yeses built my first business. And they can build your business too. My recommendation, when you launch a new product or service, make the first 5 free. The exact number matters less than knowing why you benefit from it. Here's why. 1, you get the reps in and become comfortable with making offers to people. It'll calm your nerves knowing you're just helping for free for now. Winky face. 2, you probably suck for now. People are far more forgiving when you haven't charged them anything. 3, because you probably suck, you need to learn how to suck less. You suck less by doing more. So it's better to have a few guinea pigs to get the kinks out. You learn a ton from the people you help for free, I promise. Even though it may not feel like it now, you're getting the better end of the deal. 4, if people get value, especially for free, they're far more likely to A, leave positive reviews and testimonials, B, give you feedback, C, send their friends and family. And if that's not awesome enough, free customers can make you money in 3 other ways. 1, they convert into paying customers. 2, they send you paying customers via referrals. 3, their testimonials bring in paying customers. So no matter what, you win. Pro tip, apply the hinge method to referrals. If you ask for a referral, get a 3-way introduction. My favorite way to do this in person is to grab the customer's phone, take a picture of the 2 of us, then text that picture to the referral and your own number. If I'm virtual, screenshot a video call and do the same thing. If you can't do that, then at least get a 3-way conversation with the customer making the referral, initiating it. What if they say no? Often the most expensive part of what you sell isn't the price, it's the hidden costs. Hidden costs are the time, effort, and sacrifice it takes to get results from the thing you sell. In other words, the bottom part of the value equation. If you struggle to give away your stuff for free, it means either people don't want it, dream outcome, they don't believe you, perceived likelihood of achievement, or the hidden cost, time, effort, sacrifice are too high. In short, your free stuff is too expensive. So figure out the hidden costs. Once you do, you unlock even more value that you'll eventually be able to charge for. To build your understanding of hidden costs, ask. So when someone says no, ask why. What would I have to do to make it worth it for you to continue? Their answers give you a chance to solve their problem. And if you solve that problem, they'll probably buy from you. And even if they don't buy from you, they'll give you the ammo to get the next person to. And remember, failure is a requisite for success. It's part of the process. So rack up failures as fast as you can. Get them out of the way to start paying down your no tax. If you get thousands of no's, you will get your yeses, I promise. I always tell myself, yeses give me opportunity, No's give me feedback. Either way, I win. Author note: Warren Buffett and Benjamin Graham. Before Warren Buffett became the greatest investor of our time, he offered to work for his hero, Ben Graham, for free. Want to know Graham's response? You're overpriced. Graham knew what was up. The most expensive thing about hiring Buffett wasn't a paycheck, but the time to train him. Graham would actually be working for Buffett. And in the same way, your early customers are working for you. They're training you for free. And you want to minimize that cost to them. Know your hidden costs. P.S. Buffett still managed to get Graham to take his free offer. The rest is history. Pro tip: learning or earning. If anyone tells you not to, quote, undervalue yourself by giving away your services for free in the beginning, tell them to hush. Sure, you're a special snowflake, but the stuff you sell isn't. It isn't valuable yet. You barely started. The objective right now is to learn, not to earn. We'll get to the earning once we've learned more, but we must crawl before we run. Don't get the objective mixed. The earning will come, I promise. Step 8. What do I do once I've reached out to everyone? Start back at the top. After reaching out to all the leads on one platform, switch to the platform you have the second most leads on. After you reach out to those leads, go to the platform you have the third most leads on, and so forth. Let's say you follow this to the T because being poor sucks more than helping people for free. If between all platforms you have 1,000 leads, that gives you 10 solid days of work. A month of work including follow-ups. By this point, I promise, 5 or more people have accepted your free offer, and some will have converted into paying customers. If you did a good job, they'll send their friends, and they'll become paying customers too. So let's make our first $1. Step 9. But I can't work for free forever. Start charging. This is important. This is your litmus test to know when you're good enough to charge. Once people start referring, start charging. When that happens, swap out free in the script above to 80% off for the next 5, then 60% off for the next 5, then 40% off for the next 5, and so forth. The I increase my prices every 5 rule also adds urgency because prices actually go up. And if you're curious, you don't have to stop raising your price. Feel free to keep raising it by 20% every 5 until you find your sweet spot. It's your business. You can do what you want. Charge more as you get more experienced. A nice reward. Pro tip: get more cash up front and more yeses. Prepay plus guarantee. Offering a guarantee gets more people to buy because it reverses risk. Here's a nice twist on a guarantee that'll get you more yeses and more cash. You can offer a guarantee only to people who pay up front. Reason why? People who invest up front are more committed, and as a result, we're able to guarantee their outcomes. So if you'd like our guarantee, you can prepay for our service. Another version of wording I got from my good friend Dr. Kashi: after the person agrees to buy, you say, would you rather pay less today or get all your money back? Paying less today equals a payment plan, so less money down. Get all your money back equals prepayment and get a guarantee that you get the result you want. Example: pay less equals $2,000 a month for 3 months, which is $6,000 with no guarantee. Or get all your money back equals $6,000 upfront with a guarantee. Presented this way, the majority of people take the upfront cash option with the guarantee. So if you plan on offering one anyways, you might as well weaponize it to incentivize people to pay more upfront. Step 10. But what do I do from here? Keep your list warm. Give regular value to your list through email, social media, etc. to keep it warm. A warm list stays primed for your warm reach outs in the future. We cover exactly how to give that value in the next chapter. Once you've given value for a while, or see who wants value, probe your list with Dean Jackson's timeless 9-word email template. Are you still looking to forward desire? No images, no frills, no links, just a question, nothing else. This message is money for getting leads to engage, and it's among the first things I do when I invest in a new business. Here are a few examples. Are you looking to ... buy your dream home ... get more sales leads ... tone up your arm ... open an online store ... start a YouTube channel. You get the idea. Swipe and deploy. You make the ask to see who replies, aka engage leads, and these replies should be your top priority for warm reach outs. I'll end step 10 here because I break down the give-ask process in the next chapter. The main point is that a warm list is a huge asset because it's a consistent and growing source of engaged leads. If you treat them well, your audience will feed you forever. Advertising checklist summary. Now let's look at this in 10 lines because we took 10 pages to get here. Warm reach outs daily checklist. Who? Yourself. What? Your first 5 for free. Where? Phone, email, physical mail, SMS, etc. To whom? Your contacts. When? First 4 hours of your day. Why? You want to get customers or introductions. How? Personalized messages using ACA. How much? 100 attempts per day. How many? Follow up 2 to 3 more times after the first. How long? Until you get customers. Benchmarks. How well am I doing? Warm reach out should get you about 1 in 5 contacts to engage. So 100 warm reach outs should get you about 20 replies. Of the 20 who reply, another 1 in 5-ish will take you up on your free offer. So 4 people. Of the 4 people who take your free offer, now you should be able to convert 1 into some sort of paid offer later. Hooray. Money. This framework allows you to predict how many customers you get per 100 warm reach outs. In the example, you would get 1 customer per 100 warm reach outs. These numbers vary based on the value of your offer and how much they trust you. But no matter what, with enough volume, you will get a customer. And the more you do it, the better your numbers will get. It just takes effort. You'll also learn a lot about what engages your audience, what they value, and how to make offers to them. This knowledge can make you millions. You get to learn while you earn. Score. This process alone can take you to $100,000 per year with nothing else. Wild, I know. Here's the money math. This assumes 1% of your list buys a $400 offer using only warm reach outs. 500 reach outs per week equals 5 customers per week. $400 product equals 5 customers per week times $400 each equals $2,000 per week. $2,000 per week times 52 weeks equals $104,000. Bingo. Which, as of this writing, is still 2 times the median household income in the US. Not bad. Pro tip, join communities. To learn even faster, join communities of people doing the same advertising method as you. They're great for peer support and up-to-date tricks and tips. Also, don't do anything sketchy. There are lots of people who pride themselves on pushing the legal envelope. Don't be that person. It always comes back to bite you. Do it the right way and you'll feed yourself for the long term. You can get good enough at almost anything in 20 hours of focused effort. The problem is, most people spend years delaying the first hour. You'll learn more in the first 10 days of doing 100 reach outs than you did from everything you've ever read or watched. Get that learning done as fast as you can. Remember, we want to get rich, not just get by. What's next? Warm reach outs have 2 limitations. The first is time. When you're starting out, getting new customers should take the majority of your time. Think 4 hours per day minimum. It should be the first thing you do when you get up, and you shouldn't stop until you achieve your goal. Embrace the work. It will be part of the story you tell one day. It has been for me. The second limiter is the number of people who know you. You'll eventually run out. Don't worry though, we can get more, a lot more. Now we add the second of the core 4 advertising activities, posting free content. Free gift, bonus training, warm reach outs. If you like this stuff, I go deeper in a no-holds-barred breakdown of the many different strategies you can use within warm reach outs to get your first or zillionth customer. If that sounds cool, go to acquisition.com/training/leads. And if you needed another reason, it's free. I hope you use it to get as many leads as you need. I hope you enjoyed that short episode, and maybe you're going to listen to it a couple more times if you are going to go implement that, which I hope you do. Also, just want to say it would mean the world to me if you left the book a review on Amazon. On today's $100 Million Leads collab podcast, I've got post-free content, the cornerstone of how we built all of the free personal branding stuff that we do across LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, this podcast itself, YouTube, and my email list. All of those come from the core concepts that I explain in the next 47 minutes. This one is a heater. This is how we built a 5 million person audience in 24 months. On a budget, only recording 2 days per month and doing our real job, acquisition.com in the meantime. You're not going to want to miss this one, so enjoy this. Post free content part 1. How to build an audience to get engaged leads. No one's ever complained about getting too much value. January 2020. Did you ever hear about Kylie Jenner late last? No, why? I replied. She's now the youngest female self-made billionaire. Wait, what? Yeah, she's 20. Forbes just put her on the cover. I was 10 years older than her and not a billionaire. Why do I suck so much? How could she make so much more than me? I thought I was pretty good at business. We took home $13 million in personal income the year before, but I was clearly missing something. And I felt horrible about it. My ego protected me. Well, Kris Jenner was her mother and she must have organized all this. I wrote it off as rich parents and moved on. A few months later, Layla looked up from her computer. Dude, Huda just sold a minority stake in her company at a $600 million valuation. Huda the makeup girl? I replied. Yeah. Holy cow. Again, how could I have been screwing up so bad? How is someone so young making so much more than me? She's in beauty. She can do that. I can't, I told myself, then carried on. A few months later, a headline caught my eye. Conor McGregor's Proper 12 whiskey hits a $600 million valuation within 12 months of launching. Seriously? Another person making gobs of money in what felt like seconds? A few months later, I saw another headline. With an insane $3.5 billion worth, Dwayne Johnson's Terramana sweeps the floor with Conor McGregor's Proper 12. Dwayne, The Rock Johnson, is now a multi-billionaire. And he never even talked about business. What am I doing wrong? If someone makes more money than you, they are better at the game of business in some way. Quiet the ego, look for the lesson. A few months later, at a famous friend's house. Up to this point, I stayed behind the scenes for the most part. I didn't want to become famous. I wanted to be rich. And I succeeded at that. But seeing these successes chipped away at my beliefs. Could building a personal brand be that powerful? Simple answer, yes. But I wanted my privacy. We sat around his kitchen table and I asked him, you get all these weird messages from strangers. People threaten your family. Are you still happy you became famous? He replied with something that changed my life forever. If getting weird messages and hate from people I don't know is the price I have to pay to make the impact I want to have, I'd pay that price any day of the week. I felt exposed. I was being a pansy. I claimed I wanted to make an impact, but wasn't willing to pay the price for it. After that conversation, Layla and I went all in on building personal brands. I have a core belief I'd like to transfer to you. If someone is making more money than you, they are better at the game of business in some way. Take it as good news. It means you can learn from them. Don't think they had it easy. Don't think they had a shortcut. Don't tell yourself they broke some moral code. Even if it's true, none of those beliefs serve you. None of those beliefs make you better. Years ago, I was vocal about making content. I didn't see the point. Why would I waste my time making something that would disappear in a few days? I thought it was a stupid waste of time and let everyone know. I was wrong. It really wasn't about the content at all. It was about the audience. What I didn't understand was the content you create isn't the compounding asset. The audience is. So even though the content may disappear in time, your audience keeps growing. This was a lesson my ego prevented me from learning for too long. It took an entire year of getting hit in the face with solid evidence before I changed my ways. Building an audience is the most valuable thing I've ever done. I saw Kylie Jenner, Huda Katan, Conor McGregor, and The Rock become billionaires overnight. My famous friend said a massive audience was crucial to his success. The overwhelming evidence broke my beliefs, so I rewrote them. I now saw the power of having an audience, but I didn't know where to start. So I did what I always do. I paid for knowledge. Buying someone else's experience saves the time it would take to figure everything out yourself. Layla bought me 4 calls with a big influencer who had the type of audience I wanted to build. She paid 120 grand. On my first call, he told me to post regularly on every platform. So that's what I did. 12 months later, my audience grew by more than 200,000 people. On my second call, he noted the progress, but I wanted more. Do you have a blueprint for your personal branding? How do you put out all that content? He said, bro, anyone telling you there's some secret is trying to sell you something. We just put out as much as we possibly can. Pull up your Instagram and pull up my Instagram. Look, you posted only once today. I posted 3 times. Pull up your LinkedIn. Look, you posted once this week. I posted 5 times today. He went platform by platform. I grew more embarrassed with each comparison. You just got to do more, bro. Simple, not easy. Over the next 6 months, I put out 10 times the content. And over the next 6 months, I added 1.2 million people to my audience. Also, when I put out 10 times the content, my audience grew 10 times as fast. Volume works. Content works. A growing audience is the result. And in this chapter, I'll break down how I did it so you can do it too. How building an audience works. You post great free content. Warm reach outs don't get a lot of engaged leads for the time we invest. If we want to reach 10 people, we have to repeat ourselves 10 times. Lots of effort. By posting free content, we can say it once and reach all 10. So posting content gets us a lot more engaged leads for the time we invest. Hooray. The people who think it's valuable become a part of your warm audience. If they think other people find it valuable, they share it. And if the people they share it with like it, they become a part of your warm audience too. Rinse and repeat. The sharing can go on indefinitely. The more they share your stuff, the larger your warm audience gets. And once in a while, you'll make them an offer. If your offer has enough value, they'll take it. When they do, you make money. And the bigger your audience, the more money you make. Look at it this way. Posting free content grows your warm audience. So constantly posting free content means you'll have a constantly growing audience of people more likely to buy your stuff. Free content makes all other advertising more effective. If you reach out to someone and they can't find content related to your services, they're less likely to buy. On the other hand, if they find lots of valuable content, they are more likely to buy. This is what my ego prevented me from learning. Now the headlines with Jenner, Huda, McGregor, and The Rock all made perfect sense. But posting free content isn't all sunshine and rainbows. It has trade-offs. First, it's more difficult to personalize your message, so fewer people respond. Second, you compete with everyone else posting free content. This makes it harder to stand out. Third, if you do stand out, people will copy you. This means you need to constantly innovate. That being said, a bigger audience means more engaged leads. More engaged leads means more money. More money means you more happy. Just kidding, it won't do that. But it'll give you all the resources to remove the stuff you hate. Anyways, this chapter covers only 2 topics. First, we demystify audience growing content by showing it's all made of the same basic units. A content unit has 3 components: hook, retain, reward. Second, how linking basic units together will make audience growing content for any platform or media type. The next chapter, Post-Free Content Part 2, shows you how to weaponize this content to make money. But for now, you can't monetize content until you know how to make it. The content unit, 3 components. All audience growing content does one thing: it rewards people for consuming it. And a person can only get rewarded by the content if they, 1, have a reason to consume it, 2, pay attention long enough to, 3, get that reason satisfied. Thankfully, we can reverse those 3 outcomes into the 3 things we have to do to make audience growing content. This means we have to A, hook attention, get them to notice your content; B, retain attention, get them to consume it; C, reward attention, satisfy the reason they consumed it to begin with. The smallest amount of material it takes to hook, retain, and reward attention is a content unit. It could be as little as an image, a meme, or a sentence, meaning you can hook, retain, and reward at the same time. This is how short tweets, meme images, or even a jingle can go viral. They do all 3. I separate them so we can discuss them more clearly, but they all happen at once. Let's dive into each of the things we do to create a content unit. This way, you can create effective content units that grow your audience. 1. Hook. They cannot be rewarded unless we first get their attention. The objective. We give them a reason to redirect their attention from whatever they're doing towards us. If we do that, we've hooked them. The effectiveness of your hook is measured by the percentage of people who start consuming your content. So if you hook attention well, many people will have a reason to consume your content. If you do a poor job, few people will have a reason to consume your content. Remember, this is a competition for attention. We have to beat every alternative they have to win theirs. Make yourself the best option. We increase the percentage of people who pick our content by picking topics they find interesting, headlines that give them a reason, and matching the format of other stuff they like. Let's dive into each. Topics. Topics are the things you make your content about. I prefer to use personal experiences. Here's why. There's only one of you. The easiest way to differentiate is to say something no one else can say, and no one else has lived your life but you. I divide topics into 5 categories: far past, recent past, present, trending, manufactured. Far past. The important past lessons of your life. Connect that wisdom to your product or service to provide huge value to your audience. Give them the story without the scar. It's why I write these books. Example, a personal lesson where I broke my belief that I don't have enough time. Hook. I complained to a friend that I didn't have enough time to do something while glued to my phone. Retain. They yanked it out of my hands and looked at its usage. It showed I spent 3 hours per day on social media. Reward. They looked back to me and said, "Hey, I found you some time." It's a simple story other people can relate to. This makes it an interesting topic to more people. And it connects what I do, growing businesses, to a struggle many people experience, not having enough time. The epiphany I give away makes this lesson valuable for my audience. People starting, growing, and selling their businesses. Recent past. Do stuff, then talk about what you did, or what happened. Anytime you speak with somebody, there's a chance your audience could get value from it. Look at your calendar for the last week. Look at all your meetings. Look at all your social interactions. Look at all your conversations with warm reach outs. There's gold in these conversations. Tell stories from them that would serve your audience. For example, this is me reading a tweet. As a marketing rule of thumb, if everyone else is doing it, don't do it. This tweet came from a meeting I had with a portfolio CEO that was just copying the same offer everyone else in his market was making and was getting subpar results. This means taking notes, recordings, and other records to make that stuff easy to access. But it also means a free, easy, and valuable stash of content. Testimonials and case studies fall in this category. If you can tell a cool client story in a way that provides value to your audience, you'll both promote your services and provide value. Win-win. Present. Write down ideas at the exact time they come to you. Always have a way to record your ideas in arm's reach. I'll even pause meetings to make a note of, text, or email ideas to myself. People don't mind when you ask to take notes anyway, so it's not weird. Then, when you make content, you have a bucket of fresh stories to work with. I note my ideas publicly. I used to keep ideas to myself. Now I tweet them publicly as they happen. If a post does better than normal, I know it's something people find interesting. Then I make more stuff on that topic. Trending. Go where the attention is. Look at what's trending right now and make stuff about it. Apply your own experiences to it. If you have relevant commentary or it touches your expertise in some way, talk about it. Talking about trendy stuff is very effective for gaining the attention of a broader audience. Manufactured. Turn your ideas into reality. Pick a topic people find interesting. Then learn more about it, make it, or do it. Then show it to the world. This costs the most time and effort since you have to create the experience versus talking about the one you already had, but it can have the biggest payouts. Example manufactured experience. I lived on $100 for a month. Here's how. Now, I don't live that way, but I could manufacture that experience, then make content about it. Author note. Manufactured versus documenting. Manufactured content has the most potential to grow and monetize an audience, by far. This is because skilled content creators can engineer the maximum reward for every content unit. To give you an idea, as of this writing, the top 10 videos on the most popular video platform are all music videos, and they've racked up about 60 billion views. Watching or listening, that's a lot of attention. But for us mortals, the lower cost of documenting our experiences versus manufacturing them lets us keep the volume high, and I believe it's more sustainable over a lifetime. A quote I heard from a famous content creator: I don't want to be filling my living room with sand when I'm 50. And personally, I'd rather see entrepreneurs put out more content more often and in more places. Just one man's 2 cents. Action step. Life happens, profit by sharing yours. Headlines. A headline is a short phrase or sentence used to grab the audience's attention. It communicates the reason they should consume the content. They use it to weigh the likelihood they will get a reward for consuming your content versus another. Rather than give you a bunch of templates, I'd rather give you the timeless principles that make great headlines. And there's no greater headline creator than the news. So let's study them. A meta-analysis of news revealed headline components that drove the most interest in stories. They are as follows. Try and include at least 2 in your headline. A. Recency. As recent as possible, quite literally, the news. Example. People pay attention to something that happened an hour ago more than a year ago. B. Relevancy. Personally meaningful. Example. Nurses pay more attention to stuff that affects nurses compared to stuff that affects accountants. C. Celebrity. Including prominent people, celebrities, authorities, etc. Example. Normally, we wouldn't care about what another human has for breakfast every day. But if it's Jeff Bezos's, we do. Since he's a celebrity, many people care. D. Proximity. Close to home geographically. Example. A house on fire across the country doesn't get your attention. If it's your neighbor, it sure does. Make it as close to home as possible. E. Conflict. Of opposing ideas, opposing people, nature, etc. Example. Pineapple versus no pineapple on pizza. Conflict. Example 2. Good versus evil. Hero versus villain. Left versus right. Example 3. Freedom versus security. Justice versus mercy. You get the idea. F. Unusual. Odd, unique, rare, bizarre. Example. Think of a 6-fingered man at the old-time circuses. If it's outside of the norm, people pay more attention. G. Ongoing. Stories still in progress are dynamic, evolving, and have plot twists. Example. If someone goes into labor, people want updates every 10 minutes because anything could happen. Action step. Include 1 or more of those components to give yourself meatier, attention-grabbing headlines. Format. Once we have a good topic and communicate it with a headline, using 1 or more components, we need to match our format to the best content on the platform. People consume content because it's similar to stuff they've liked in the past, and matching the popular format of the platform gets the most people to interact with it. So we want to make our content look like the stuff they've liked before. Format example. Since you're listening on audio, I display a meme that went viral a few years ago with LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Tinder, all images of the same people formatted in different ways contextual to the platform. And it showed how different people display themselves on each platform. Back to the text. This meme communicates the point better than I can with words. All 4 images above are, well, images, but they have a different look and feel. This is because formatting depends on the audience you want to hook and the platform your audience is on. Bottom line, you've got to make your content look like what they expect will reward them. Otherwise, no matter how good it is, better looking content will hook them before yours even has a chance. Action step. Format your content for the platform first, then tweak it so it hooks your ideal audience. Use the best content on the platform that targets your market as your guide. This concludes the hook step of our content unit. Always following these basics will already put you in the top 1%, at least it has for me. 2. Retain. My favorite driver of retention is curiosity. It's my favorite because if done correctly, people will wait years. People want to know what happens next. For example, I get messages daily, for years, about when I will release my next book on sales. My favorite way to get the audience curious is to embed questions in their mind. Unresolved questions can be explicit or implicit. You can directly ask the question, or the question can be implied. My 3 favorite ways to embed questions are lists, steps, and stories. A. Lists. Lists are things, facts, tips, opinions, ideas, etc., presented one after the other. Good lists in free content also follow a theme. Think top 10 mistakes or 5 biggest moneymakers, and so on. Giving the number of listed items in your headline or in the first few seconds of your content tells people what to expect. And in my experience, this retains more of the audience's attention for longer. Example, 7 ways I invested $1,000 in my 20s that paid off big. Example, 28 ways to stay poor. Example, a content unit has 3 pieces. B, steps. Steps are actions that occur in order and accomplish a goal when completed. Provided that early steps were clear and valuable, the person will want to know how to do them all to accomplish their overall goal. Example, 3 steps to creating a great hook. Example, how I create a headline in 7 steps. Example, the morning routine that boosts my productivity. Note, here's the difference between steps and lists. Steps are actions that must be done in a specific order to get a result. So steps are less flexible but have a bit more explicit reward. Lists can have just about anything on them in any order you want. So lists are more flexible but have less explicit reward. C, stories. Stories describe events, real or imaginary, and stories worth telling often have some lesson or takeaway for the listener. You can tell stories about things that have happened, might happen, or will never happen. All 3 drive curiosity because people want to know what happens next. Example, almost every chapter in this book has a story. Example, my editor made me do 19 drafts of this book. Here's what I did to him. Ha. Example, my journey from sleeping on the bottom floor of a gym to the top floor of a 5-star hotel. You can use lists, steps, and stories on their own or interweave them. For example, you can have lists within steps and a story about each list item. You can have stories to reinforce the value of a step. You can have a list of stories or many ongoing storyline, etc. Your creativity is the only limit here. That's why people who make a lot of content call themselves creators. This chapter, for example, has lists within steps and stories interweaving them. Action step. Use lists, steps, and stories to keep your audience curious. Embed questions in their minds to make them want to know what happens next. 3. Reward. Anyone can think of cool hooks and organize their content using lists, steps, or stories. But the real question is it good? Does it satisfy the reason they watch to begin with? Does it make people want to share it? How good your content is depends on how often it rewards your audience and the time it takes them to consume it. Think value per second. For example, the same person who gets bored 3 seconds into a 10-second video may also binge a 900-page book, and that same person may binge a television series for 8 hours straight. So there's no such thing as too long, only too boring. Now, we can't guarantee a specific reward, but we can increase the chance reward happens by hooking the right audience with proper topics, headlines, and formatting, retaining them with lists, steps, and stories to get them curious and wanting more, clearly satisfying the reason the content hooked them to begin with. Example, if your hook promises 7 ways to make up with your spouse and you give A, 4 ways, B, 7 ways that stunk or that they've heard before, or C, you're talking to a room full of single guys who don't have spouses, you did a bad job of rewarding. People will not want to watch again and certainly won't share it. Example, if your hook promises 4 marketing strategies dentists can use and they can't use them, they will not share it or watch your content in the future. You did a bad job of rewarding. Bottom line, I've had tons of content I thought would smash records, but the audience smashed the next button instead. So no matter how good you think your content is, the audience decides. Rewarding your audience means matching or exceeding their expectations when they decided to consume your content. Here's how you know if you succeeded. Your audience grows. If it's not growing, your stuff isn't that good. Practice and you'll get better. Action step. Provide more value than anyone else. Make good on your promises. Clearly satisfy the hook you use to get their attention. In other words, completely answer the unresolved questions you embedded in their minds. So what's the difference between short and long form content? Answer, not much. If you recall from earlier, the smallest amount of material it takes to hook, retain, and reward attention is a content unit. So to create a longer piece of content, we simply link content units together. For example, a single step in a 5-step list might be a content unit. When we link all 5 together, we have a longer piece of content. Here's a visual to drive it home. For everyone who's listening, it's just hook, retain, reward cycled over and over and over again. Shorter content hooks retains and rewards fewer times. Longer content does it more times. And doing it more times takes more skill because you have to string more good content units in a row. For example, a new comedian will typically only get a few minutes on stage to perform their bit. Only a master comic gets an hour. It takes practice to reward attention just often enough to keep it for that long. So, start small, then build from there. Even if you start with longer content, which is fine, I suggest starting with shorter versions. You'll have an easier go of it. Many successful authors with epic length novels started by writing, you guessed it, short stories. Pro tip: make all your content for strangers. This is important. Pay attention. If you want to grow your warm audience, then you need to make content assuming the people consuming it have never heard of you before. If you make it for strangers, then strangers will like it because you made it for them, and they'll share it, and your audience will grow that much faster. And consider the alternative. You litter your content with inside jokes that no one gets besides your audience. Cool for you guys, but no one else will feel welcome, and your audience growth will slow down. This is one of the most common mistakes I see content creators make, so don't make it. So make every piece of content assuming the person has never heard of you before. And everyone who already knows you won't mind. They'll appreciate the reminders. Once you understand how to make a content unit, all you have to do is more. Then your audience will grow. And once your audience grows big enough, you may want to monetize it. I had too much to say to fit in one chapter, so we'll talk about how to monetize the audience in the next one. I'll see you there.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the book right now. If you don't know this, the mission of acquisition.com is to make real business education accessible to everyone. And the only way we can reach everyone is if you choose to share this. And so if you've been enjoying this, you've been getting value from this chapter and any of the rest of the podcast episodes, if you could just take a second and ship this to a friend, just click the one button and send it to somebody or share it on your stories, it would mean the world to me and it would ultimately send this message to more people. So if you could do that now, it would mean a lot.
Post free content part 2. Monetize your audience. Give until they ask. The point of this chapter is to show you how to monetize your warm audience. First, we talk about how we can make offers and not be a spam monster, mastering the give to ask ratio. Then we'll talk about the 2 offer strategies to monetize the audience. After that, I'll talk about how to scale your output so you can grow a bigger audience faster and make even more money. Then I'll share a bunch of lessons I've learned in building my own audience that I wish I had known sooner. Finally, I'll wrap this up with how you can take action on everything today. Mastering the give to ask ratio. Gary Vaynerchuk popularized jab, right hook. It simplifies the idea of giving to your audience many times before making an ask. You deposit goodwill with rewarding content, then withdraw from it by making offers. When you deposit goodwill, your audience pays more attention. When you deposit goodwill, your audience is more likely to do what you ask. So I try to under-ask my audience and build as much goodwill as possible. Thankfully, the give to ask ratio has been well studied. Television advertises 13 minutes of advertising per 60 minutes of airtime. That means 47 minutes are dedicated to quote giving and 13 minutes are dedicated to quote asking. That's roughly a 3.5 to 1 ratio of giving to asking. On Facebook, it's roughly 4 content posts for every 1 ad on the newsfeed. This gives us an idea of the minimum give to ask ratio we can sustain. After all, television and Facebook are mature platforms. They care less about growing their audiences and care more about making more money from them. So they give less and ask more, which means give, ask is the ratio that gets us closer to maximally monetizing an audience without shrinking it. But most of us want to grow, so we shouldn't model them. We should model growing platforms. So what do growing platforms do? They display lots of content without many advertisements at all. In short, they give, maybe ask. They dramatically overgive and underask. Why? Because the more you reward your audience, the bigger it gets. So if you want to grow an audience, give far more than you ask. Most people don't make money because they can't wait 12 months. And now that I have some experience with it, I've got a slight tweak on the traditional give-ask strategy that puts it on steroids. Give until they ask. People are always waiting for you to ask for money. And when you don't, they trust you more. They share your stuff more. You grow faster, etc. But I'm not some altruistic saint. I'm here to make money. After all, I wouldn't be a very good businessman if I weren't making any. So it's simple. If you give enough, people start asking you. It makes people uncomfortable to continue to receive without giving back. It's core to our culture and DNA. They'll go to your website, DM you, email you, etc. to ask for more. Not only that, when you use this strategy, you get the best customers. They are the ones who are the biggest givers. They are the ones who, even as paying customers, still feel they get the better end of the deal. And best of all, if you advertise this way, your growth never slows. When you use this strategy, you give in public, ask in private. You let the audience self-select when they're ready to give you money. That's why, in my opinion, give until they ask is the best strategy. But if you feel like asking, I get it. So let's talk about how to ask, because if you're going to do it, you might as well do it well. Bottom line, the moment you start asking for money is the moment you decide to slow down your growth. So the more patient you are, the more you will get when you finally make your ask. Action step, give until they ask. Pro tip, give in public, ask in private. If you continue to give in public, people will ask you for stuff privately. Bank on it. The best of both worlds is to never stop giving in public and continue to get an increasing number of people to ask you privately to sell them stuff. Give, and you will get without losing goodwill or slowing down your audience growth. How to make money from content? Ask. To be clear, I think you should use the give until they ask strategy. But if you need to pay rent, feed your family, etc., I get it. Sometimes you gotta ask. So let's talk about how to do that without sounding like a nincompoop. Think of asks as commercials. You interrupt this program with a very important message. Since you are the one providing the value, you interrupt your own content with commercials about the stuff you sell. But since it's your audience, you pay the cost of potential loss of trust, slowing growth, and of course, the time it took you to gather the audience in the first place. But money-wise, it's free. Now, I use two strategies to weave promotions into content. Integrated offers and intermittent offers. Let's cover both. Integrated. You can advertise in every piece of content so long as you keep your give to ask ratio high. You will continue to grow your warm audience and get engaged leads. Win-win. For example, if I make an hour-long podcast, having 3 30-second ads means I have 58.5 minutes of giving to 1.5 minutes of asking, well above the 3-to-1 ratio. On the flip side, I had a friend who had a podcast that blew up quickly. Eager to monetize his new audience, he started making offers, asking too frequently in the content. His podcast not only stopped growing, it actually shrank. Don't be like that. Don't kill your golden goose. It's a balancing act. Overgive to protect your most valuable asset, the goodwill of your audience. Action step. I most commonly integrate asks, aka CTAs, after a valuable moment or at the end of a content piece. Consider trying one of those places first and make sure your audience growth doesn't slow. Then add in the second and so forth. Pro tip, PS statements. The PS statement is one of the most read parts of any content, often because it summarizes the main thing the author wants the audience to do. So I try to include them in everything I write. It's also one of my favorite places to make asks. PS, see, everyone reads these. Intermittent. The second way you can monetize is through intermittent asks. Here's how it works. You make many pieces of content of pure gives, then occasionally make an ask piece. Example, you make 10 give posts, and on the 11th, you promote your stuff. The difference between the first way and the second depends on the platform. On short platforms, the intermittent way will dominate. On long platforms, integrations are often your best bet. When you make your asks, you either advertise your core offer or advertise your lead magnet. That's it. Don't overcomplicate this. Lead magnet example. If I just talked about a way to get more leads on a post, video, podcast, etc., I would then say, I have 11 more tips that have helped me do this. Go to my site to grab a pretty visual of them. And as long as I have an audience that wants to get more leads, this will get some of them to engage. Then, the thank you page after the opt-in page for my lead magnet would display my paid offer with some video explaining how it works. Bonus points if your lead magnet is relevant to your content advertising it. Offer example. You can also go for the jugular with your core offer and go straight for the sale, the direct path to money. We model our offer from the last chapter. I'm looking for 5 specific avatar to help achieve dream outcome in time delay. The best part is you don't have to effort and sacrifice. And if you don't get dream outcome, I will do 2 things. Increase perceived likelihood of achievement. 1, I will hand you your money back. 2, I will work with you until you do. I do this because I want everyone to have an amazing experience with us and because I'm confident I can deliver on my promise. If that sounds fair, DM me /book/comment below /reply to this email, etc. After you make your ask, get back to providing value. Pro tip, $100 million offers. My first book, $100 million Offers, breaks down the offer creation process step by step. If you want to know how to create a valuable offer that the right person would feel stupid saying no to, go check out that book.
The digital version is available for sale at the cheapest price that the platform would let me make it and still listed as a book.
If it helps you feel more comfortable, more than 10,000 people left it a 5-star review in the first 15 months since it was published. And it has stayed at the top, the #1 bestseller in marketing, advertising, sales list for the past 100 plus weeks and counted. If you don't know what to sell, read that book to get it right the first time. That was an example of an integration. Action step. Pick whether you integrate or make an intermittent ask. Then pick whether you'll advertise your core offer or lead magnet. If you're not sure, do the lead magnet. It's lower risk. How to scale it. Depth than width or width than depth. After you start asking, you're going to start getting leads and making money. But you don't want to stop there, do you? Didn't think so. Cool. So let's talk about scale. There are 2 opposing strategies to scale your warm audience. They both follow progressive steps. First, you have the depth then width approach. Then you have the width then depth approach. Both are right. Here's how they work. Depth then width. Maximize a platform, then move on to the next platform. Step 1, post content on a relevant platform. Step 2, post content regularly on that platform. Step 3, maximize quality and quantity of the content on that platform. Short form, you may sometimes be able to get up to 10 times per day per platform. Long form, you may have to get up to 5 days per week. See soap operas. Step 4, add another platform while maintaining the quality and quantity on the first platform. Step 5, repeat steps 1 through 4 until all relevant platforms are maximized. Advantages. Once you figure out one platform, you maximize your return on that effort. Audiences compound faster the more you do. You take advantage of this compounding. Fewer resources are required to make this work. Disadvantages. You have less low-hanging fruit of new platforms and new audiences. You don't accomplish the feeling of, quote, omnipresence. In the beginning, you risk your business being reliant on a single channel. This is a risk because platforms can change all the time and sometimes ban you for no reason. If you only have one way to get customers, it can kill your business if it gets shut down. Width and depth. Get on every platform early, then maximize them together. Step 1, post content on a relevant platform. Step 2, post content regularly on that platform. Step 3, here's where this strategy differs from the one before. Instead of maximizing your first platform, move on to the next relevant platform while maintaining the previous. Step 4, continue until you are on all relevant platforms. Step 5, now maximize your content creation on all platforms at once. Advantages. You reach a broader audience faster, and you can repurpose your content. So with a little extra work, you can capture tons of efficiency. With minimal changes to the format, you can make the same content fit multiple platforms. For example, it takes little extra effort to format a single short video across all platforms distributing short video content. Disadvantages. It costs more labor, attention, and time to do this well. Oftentimes, people end up with lots of bad content everywhere. Sucky fluff. No bueno. If you already have a sizable business, scale up faster and reap the rewards of an asset that only gets better with time. I said it before and I'll say it again. The best day to start posting content was the day you were born. The second best day is today. Don't wait like I did. Pro tip, how I get it done. I am not a full-time content creator. I run businesses. But content creation is a part of my responsibility. Here's my simple process for recording. 1, I find topics using the 5 ways from the topic section of part 1 of this chapter. This takes me about an hour. 2, I sit down twice every month and record 30 or so short clips based on step 1. 3, on the same day, I record 2 to 4 longer videos unpacking tweets that had more stories or relevant examples. This creates my longer form content. If that sounds simplistic, it's because it is. Just start, you can add volume over time. Action step. Pick an approach, start posting, then go up the scaling steps over time. Pro tip, only one call to action at a time. A confused mind doesn't buy is a common saying in the sales and marketing world. To increase how many people do what you want, only ask them to do one thing per call to action. For example, don't ask people to share, like, subscribe, and comment at the same time, because instead of doing them all, they'll do none. Instead, if you want them to share, only ask them to share. And if you want them to buy, only ask them to buy. Make up your mind so they don't have to. Why you should make content, even if it's not your primary advertising strategy. January 2020. I called all the major departments into a meeting to answer an important question. Why isn't our paid advertising working like it used to? Opinions flooded the room. The creative, the copy, the offer, our pages, our sales process, our price. They shot back and forth at each other, every bit as invested as I was in solving the problem. Layla and I sat quietly as the team debated. After the din died down, Layla, in her wise fashion, asked a different question. What did we stop doing in the months before the decline? A new debate arose, and a unanimous answer surfaced. Alex stopped making gym content and started talking about general business. Now, I didn't know how important this was, but I had to find out. So I sent out a survey to our gym owners. I asked them if they had consumed any content of mine before they booked a call. The results astounded me. 78% of all clients had consumed at least 2 long-form pieces of content prior to booking a call. I had fallen into my old ways and given paid ads all the credit. But our free content was nurturing the demand. Don't make the same mistake I did. Your free content gives strangers an opportunity to find, get value, and share your stuff. And it warms people on the fence that go to and from the cold audience methods we dive into next. So even if it's hard to measure, free content gets you better returns on all advertising methods. Bottom line, start making content relevant to your audience. It will make you more money. 7 lessons I've learned from making content. 1, switch how to how I. From this is the best way to these are my favorite ways, especially when you're starting out. Talk about what you've done, not what others should do. What you like, not this is the best. When you talk about experience, no one can question you. This makes you bulletproof. A, I make my oatmeal this way versus you should make your oatmeal this way. B, how I built my 7-figure agency versus how to build a 7-figure agency. C, my favorite way to generate leads for my business versus this is the best way to generate leads for your business. It's subtle, But when you tell your experience, you're sharing value. When you tell a stranger what to do, it's hard to avoid coming off preachy or arrogant. This helps avoid it. 2. We need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. You're a silly goose if you think 100% of your audience listens 100% of the time. For example, I post about my book every day. I surveyed my audience and asked them if they knew I had a book. 1 in 5 that saw the post said they didn't know. Keep repeating yourself. You'll get bored of your content before your whole audience even sees it. 3. Puddles, ponds, lakes, oceans. Narrow the focus of your content. If you have a small local business, you probably shouldn't make general business content. Not at first, at least. Why? The audience will listen to people with better track records than you. But you can narrow your topics to what you do and the place you do it. Example, plumbing in a certain town. If you do that, you can become king of that puddle. Over time, you can expand your plumbing puddle to the general local business pond. Then, the lake of brick and mortar chains, and so forth, and eventually, the ocean of general business. 4. Content creates tools for salespeople. Some content will perform well and get more people interested in buying your stuff. That content helps your sales team. Create a master list of your greatest hits. Label each, quote, hit with the problem it solves and the benefit it provides. Then, your sales team can send it before or after sales calls and help people decide to buy. They work especially well if the content resolves the specific concern the prospects commonly face. 5. Free content retains paying customers. How a customer gets value from you matters less than where they got it. Imagine a person pays for your thing and then consumes your free content. If your free content is valuable, they will like you more and stay loyal to your business longer. On the flip side, if they consume your free content and it sucks, they will like your paid product less. Here's something you may not know. Somebody who buys your stuff is more likely to consume your free content. This is why it's so important to make your free content good. Your customers will include it in how they calculate their ROI from your paid thing. 6. People don't have short attention spans. They have higher standards. Repeat it for emphasis. There is no such thing as too long, only too boring. Streaming platforms have proven that people will spend hours binging long-form content if they like it. Our biology hasn't changed. Our circumstances have. They have more rewarding stuff to choose from. So make good stuff people like and reap the rewards rather than whining about people's, quote, short attention spans. 7. Avoid pre-scheduling posts. Posts I manually post perform better than the ones I pre-schedule. Here's my theory. When you manually post, you know that within seconds you will be rewarded or punished for the quality of the content. Because of that close feedback loop, you try that much harder to make it good. When I schedule stuff out, I don't feel the same pressure. So whenever I post, or my team does, we strongly believe in someone pressing the submit button because it gives that last bit of pressure to get it right. Give it a try. Benchmarks. How well am I doing? If our audience grows, we did good. But if our audience grows fast, we did gooder. So I like to measure my audience size and speed of growth monthly. Here's what I measure. 1. Total followers and reach, aka how big. Follower example. If I go from 1,000 followers across all platforms to 1,500, I grew my audience by 500. Yay. B. Reach example. If I go from 10,000 people seeing my stuff to 15,000 people seeing my stuff, I grew my reach by 5,000 people. 2. Rate of getting followers and reach, aka how fast. You compare the growth between months. Example, if I gain those 500 followers in a month, that would make it a 50% growth month. 500 new, over 1,000 started equals 50% growth rate. B, example, if I reach those 5,000 extra people in a month, that would make it a 50% growth month as well. 5,000 new, over 10,000 started equals 50% growth rate. Remember, we can only control inputs. Measuring outputs is only useful if we are consistent with inputs. So, pick the posting cadence you want to stick with on a particular platform. Then, pick your ask cadence on that platform, aka how you will direct people to become engaged leads. Then, start and do not stop. It's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't stop once you start. For reference, I posted a new podcast twice a week for 4 years before even getting picked up on the top 100 list. Because I did the same thing every week for years, I knew I could trust the feedback. In the beginning, it didn't grow much. It took time for me to get better. And I knew I had to make more over a long time for that to happen. So if your listeners go from 10 to 15 in a month, that's progress, baby. Even with small absolute numbers, that's 50% monthly growth. It's why I like to measure both the absolute and relative growth and pick the one that makes me feel better. As my friend Dr. Kashi says, The more ways you measure, the more ways you can win. Be consistent, measure a lot, adapt to feedback, be a winner. To close the loop, in its 5th year, my podcast, The Game, became a top 10 podcast in the US for business and top 500 in the world. This was only possible after 5 years of multiple podcasts per week, every week. Remember, everyone starts at 0. You just got to give time. Your first post. You've probably been providing value to other humans knowingly or unknowingly for a while. So the first post you can make an ask. My hope is that it gets you your first engaged lead. If it doesn't, you need to give for a while, then make an ask once you've earned the right to. To show you that I'm not making this up, below you can find my first business post ever. Is that ideal? No. I had no idea what I was doing. Should you copy it? Probably not. Main point, don't be afraid of what other people think. If someone won't speak at your funeral, you shouldn't care about their opinion while you're alive. Honor the few who believe in you by having courage. Here's the post. Everyone, for those of you who know me, you know 2 things. 1, I am terrible with all things technological. For example, I just heard about Spotify a few weeks ago. Seriously. 2, I love training and nutrition and fitness more than, well, a whole lot. So today is sort of special because it marks a day where my love of training vanquished my fear of technology. What do I mean? For the better part of a year, I've been taking part in a free personal training project with the idea that I would give away free personal training to anyone who's willing to give their $500 to $1,000 to a cause of their choice. This way, they wouldn't have to be motivated by the same thing as me, but be motivated to give to their cause and benefit themselves. When I first introduced the idea, I was happily surprised with the amount of positive support I received. So, almost a year from my first client, I now have a website to formally show some of the transformations that have gone underway using my programming and as a formal means of contacting me about signing up. I currently have a few slots open on my roster, so drop me a note quickly if you are interested. Thanks so much. Take a second to check out some of the ridiculous transformations in record time. Check it out. Whenever I read this, I just think, you goon. But hey, I was trying, and for that, I'm proud. Recap. We covered 8 things. 1, the content unit. Done. 2, short versus long form content. Done. 3, mastering the give-ask ratio. Done. 4, how to ask. Done. 5, how to scale it. Done. 6, lessons from content. Done. 7, benchmarks. Done. 8, your first post. Done. Now you know there's nothing stopping you. So what do I do right now? Posting free content is less predictable than, but complementary to, warm reach-outs. So keep doing warm reach-outs. Also, posting free content grows your warm audience, and a bigger warm audience means more people for warm reach-outs. So free content gets engaged leads on its own and keeps getting engaged leads through warm reach-outs. Instead of ditching one for the other, I recommend you post free content in addition to warm reach-outs. Let's fill out our daily action commitment for our first platform. Post content daily checklist. Who, yourself. What, value, give until they ask. Where, any media platform. To whom, people who already follow you. When, every morning, 7 days a week. Why, to build goodwill and get engaged leads. How, written image, videos, or audio posts. How much, 100 minutes a day. How many, as many times as the platform shows it. How long, as long as it takes. Next up. First, we start with warm outreach. We reach out to every person we have permission to contact. Second, we post publicly about the successes and lessons we have from our first clients. We post testimonials, we provide value, then occasionally ask. We commit to doing both of these activities every day. With these 2 methods alone, you can eventually build a 6 or 7-figure business. But you may want to go faster. So we venture from warm audiences who know us to cold audiences who don't. We begin reaching out to strangers. This begins the 3rd step in our advertising journey, cold outreach. Free gift. Everything.
Let me know if you're watching this video. Drop a 030 in the comments below if you are watching this video, because this is such a unique, not unique, this is just like me just studying a book as my content. I don't know if I'm copping out making this kind of video, so yeah, let me know if you're actually watching this or not. I don't expect anybody to be watching this kind of videos. It's more so just a documented journey for myself. But yeah, this is the real work, the real shit. I've got to pay off my ignorance debt. Obviously, like, I got to be doing outreach. I got to be doing a lot more work, but it is like the end of December, and so I'm taking this time to really try to build a solid foundation and an action plan coming into the new year. So yeah, trying to get as much information as I can. building my offer, setting up my lead systems, my outbound, my inbound, and just having a really solid idea on what I need to do in 2026 to move the needle where I don't have to think anymore about like my outbound systems or what I have to do. I just know I've got to do this amount of reps, this amount of days, and that's it. So, yeah, so I'm laying down this groundwork. Um,
Content.
yeah.
I had to cut out a lot of material to make this book manageable. If you want to know the fast and easy way to make content that builds trust in an audience, go to acquisition.com/training/leads. And if you need another reason besides it'll make you money, it won't cost you any. It's free. Enjoy. Free goodwill. He who said money can't buy happiness hasn't given enough away. Unknown. People who give without expectation live longer, happier lives, and make more money. So if we got a shot at doing that during our time together, darn it, I'm going to try. To do that, I have a question for you. Would you help someone who you've never met if it costs you nothing, but you didn't get credit?
Welcome to episode 5, podcast edition of $100 Million Leads. This is a one single kahuna chapter, cold outreach. This is everything that I learned step by step on how to create a cold outreach system that ended up creating literally tens of millions of dollars for me personally, because it is what created or what transformed Gym Launch into a sellable asset. So we went from just being able to run ads to having a cold outbound team that generated over half of our sales, and we had to learn it from absolute scratch. And so rather than you learning from scratch, let me just give you all the lessons so you can have a big head start. That's what this chapter is about. I hope you enjoy, and if you really love it, leave a review. It would mean the world.
Cold outreach. How to reach out to strangers to get engaged leads. Quantity has a quality all of its own. Napoleon Bonaparte. July 2020. COVID-19 raged. In a matter of months, 30% of my customers went out of business. Protesters filled every platform with hate and anger. Small businesses suffered in silence. Unemployment. The most tumultuous election ever was upon us, and here we were, trying to generate leads to pay our bills. Employees everywhere and their families depended on it. All three of my companies at the time, Gym Launch, Prestige Labs, and Allen, relied on brick-and-mortar businesses staying open, and they were closed. Brilliant strategy, Alex. To make matters worse, Apple did a software update that crippled our ads. The market was crap, our paid ads were crap, and I carried the bucket. I ran through worst-case scenarios. How much cash would it take to keep us afloat? How long do I keep paying people when there's no end in sight? Should I dip into my personal accounts? Give them a third of my life savings? Half? All of it? What does that say about me? I had no idea what to do. Early that Saturday morning, I tried to sleep long enough for my alarm to wake me, but it was no use. I went into my office and checked Instagram. I had a new message waiting for me. Hey Alex, Kale told me you guys don't need salesmen anymore, so my offer got pulled. I quit my job to accept it. Super honored you considered me. I hope you consider me again the next time you have openings. Looking for context, I scrolled up. Reading our earlier messages rewarded me with a pang of guilt. I was the one who told him to apply. He took the rejection well, a sign of a good salesman. I felt obligated to reply. You on? I messaged. Yeah, he replied. Got 5? Yes. We hopped on a call. He sounded a little nervous, but I could tell he knew his stuff. It sucks we don't have enough leads for this guy. I've wanted to work with you for a while now. I read your book and used your scripts to become the top producer at my company, he said. That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear it. What kind of company? I asked. A gym software company. I hadn't heard of them before. Oh, interesting. How'd you guys get your leads? We were 100% cold outreach. So you cold call and cold email gyms, then sell them software? Yeah, pretty much. How big is the team? We've got about 30 guys. A team of 30? What's your revenue, if you don't mind my asking? We're doing about 10 million a month right now. Insane. Just from cold outreach? Yeah, we run some ads, but we haven't really cracked that yet. And you do this with a retention offer? You're not even really making gyms more money? Yeah, it's definitely not as easy to sell as the stuff you do for gyms. Do you think you could use the same outreach system here? I've never started a team, but I bet I could figure it out. All right, what was the offer Kale pulled? I was going to be a closer, but he said you guys didn't need one anymore. I thought for a moment. Well, given our current lead volume, he's probably right. But if you can get your own leads, I'll give you the runway to get cold outreach going. What do you think? It's going to take a while to get going. I'll have to figure out the scripts for your offer. Yeah, that makes sense. How long you think? I'm confident I can make it profitable in 12 weeks. All right, deal. I'll let Kale know the plan. To be clear, you'll be expected to figure this all out. The software, the lists, everything. I'll front you the time, but we can't support you much beyond that. Understood. Here's what happened during the following months. September, 0 sales. Zipola, nothing. Zilch, nada. October, 2 sales, $32,000 in revenue. Team asked me to pull the plug on the cold outreach. December, 4 sales, $64,000 in revenue. Team asked me to pull the plug again. January, 6 sales, $96,000 in revenue. February, 10 sales, $160,000 in revenue. March, 14 sales, $224,000 in revenue. April, 20 sales, $320,000 in revenue. May, 30 sales, $480,000 in revenue. Today, cold outreach generates millions per month for our businesses. Making this work took every legal cold outreach method we knew. Cold calls, cold emails, cold direct messages, voicemails, everything. But piece by piece, we built a reliable customer getting system. I wanted something that would endure, and that's what I'm going to show you how to build. I learned 5 important lessons from this experience. 1, there was another company in my space making a lot more money than mine. It broke my belief about how big the market really was. 2, they made all their money through private advertising. I had no way of knowing they existed unless they contacted me first, so they kind of operated in secret. 3, they built a very profitable cold outreach machine in my space. If they could do it, so could I. 4, it's good to have proper expectations. Cold outreach veterans told me it would take a year to scale. I figured we could do it in 12 weeks. I was wrong. It took almost a year. Cold outreach takes a long time. At least it did for me. 5, we tried cold outreach 2 times before and failed. Working with a person that had done it all before was immensely helpful in getting this going. I hope to be that person for you now. At some point, you'll want one of 2 things. Either you'll want to grow faster than you currently are, or you'll want to increase the predictability of your lead flow. Here's how we can do that. We advertise to people who don't know us, cold audiences. And like before, we can contact them privately or publicly. In this chapter, we focus on private one-to-one communication with cold outreach. For added context, cold outreach sits atop the foundation of warm outreach. So think of this as a more advanced cousin of warm outreach, no longer limited by your warm audience. If you can figure out a way to contact somebody one-to-one, you can use it for cold outreach. You can knock 100 doors, you make 100 phone calls, you can send 100 direct messages, you can send 100 voicemails. These are all examples of cold outreach that have made companies zillions. It worked 100 years ago, it works today, and when platforms change, it'll work tomorrow. Cold outreach has one key difference from warm outreach: trust. Strangers don't trust you. And compared to people who know us, strangers present 3 new problems. First, you don't have a way to contact them. Duh. Second, even if you can contact them, they ignore you. Third, even if they give you their attention, they're not interested. Let me describe what these problems look like in the real world. If you're knocking on doors, you don't have the addresses. Then, even if you do, they don't open the door when you knock. If they open, they still tell you to pound sand. If you're making cold calls, you don't have their phone numbers. Even if you do, they don't pick up. If they pick up, they still hang up on you. If you're sending cold emails, you don't have their email addresses. Even if you do, they don't open the email. Even if they do open it, they still don't respond. If you're sending direct messages, you don't have a place to send it. Even if you do, they don't read it. Even if they read it, they don't reply. If you're sending voice memos or text messages, you don't have their numbers. Even if you do, they don't read or listen to it. Even if they read or listen to it, they still don't reply. Now that we got that out of the way, the order we solve these problems is this. 1, get a way to contact them. 2, figure out what to say. 3, contact them until they're ready and able to listen. The result, we find lots of ways to contact the most qualified strangers. We reach out to a lot of them in a lot of ways, a lot of times. Then we overwhelm them with value upfront to get them to show enough interest to move forward. Author note, it'll take a few more steps than normal. As a personal rule of thumb, I sell expensive stuff. I sell expensive stuff better when I do it in multiple steps rather than on the first contact. So my priority is to get the prospect to show interest in the stuff I sell. When they show interest, I schedule a time to sell them. If my lead magnet requires a second exchange to deliver it, I do that then. If my lead magnet provides value on its own, then the next call is to talk about the value they received. Either way works. Cold outreach is a numbers game. The more people we reach out to, the more engaged leads you get. Once we figure out how much outreach it takes to engage a lead, then we only have one thing to do: more. Let's go hunting. As there are 3 new problems strangers introduce, I divided this chapter into 3 steps. 1 step per problem. First, we get a targeted list of leads. Next, we need to know what to say to get them to reply. Third, we make up for lower response rates by increasing the volume and type of our reach out attempts. Problem number 1. But how do I contact them? Build a list. Up until this point, from warm reach outs and posting free content, you've had to accept the leads that came to you from your warm audience. No more. With cold outreach, unlike any other way of advertising, we get to be as specific as we want. Only want to talk to hedge fund managers managing over $1 billion? Done. You can do that. Only want to speak to golf apparel retail owners over $3 million in sales? Done. Only want to talk to influencers who get over 50,000 unique page views per month? Done. Now we get to pick our targets rather than them picking us. Now you probably don't have a way to reach out to 1,000 perfect fit strangers. And if we're going to get them to buy from us, we've got to first find a way to contact them. Duh. So let's solve that problem first. There are 3 different ways I get my targeted lead lists. First, I use software to scrape a list of names. Second, I pay brokers to assemble me a list of targeted leads. And if neither of those work, I manually scrape a list of